Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Radio Networks on Sunday, October 27th, 2013. This is episode 1026. A note, by the way, the radio show is no longer, as you probably noticed, on XM satellite network because America's Talking, the channel we were on, is no longer on XM. Maybe some of you found this podcast as a result. You will hear everything you heard on XM, minus the ads and any local content. What you'll hear is our ads, the several podcast ads we do, and in between segment chatter, we include some of that as well. So if you're new to the podcast because of XM, thank you and welcome. We're glad to have you. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by IT Pro TV. Are you looking to upgrade your IT skills or prepare for certification? ITPro.tv offers engaging and informative tutorials streamed to your Roku, computer, or mobile device. For 50% off the lifetime of your account, visit itpro.tv/techguy and use the offer code TG50. And by Ring Central. I love my cloud-based phone system from Ring Central. Zero startup costs, and Ring Central is $20 per month per user. Try it now with a 30-day risk-free trial. And when you buy one desk phone, you'll get a second phone free up to a total of 20 phones. Call 800-543-9980 or visit ringcentral.com and use the promo code TWIT. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. All of that to serve one goal, and to help you to save the world one computer at a time. 888-827-5536 is the phone number. In about 33 and a third after the hour, about halfway through the hour, my friend Steve Gibson, our security guru, is going to join us because there is a nasty virus going around. Really nasty virus called, well, it won't have a name, for you, but the security gurus are calling it CryptoLocker. And it's going to cost you if you get it, unless you have a good backup. Steve will explain how you get infected, how to avoid getting infected, what to do if you do get infected. Normally, I don't pay attention to viruses because there's new ones every day, right? And we talk in general about viruses. But this is a particularly nasty virus in that category we know as ransomware. And you do not want to get bit by that. Next hour, of course, Chris Marquardt with some photo busting. We're going to have some fun today. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion. Where do you get your news these days? You still watch local, television news, or do you listen to? I'm sure a lot of you get the news from the radio, since you're listening to the radio right now. But increasingly, Twitter is the source for at least to kind of keep up with what's going on, isn't it? So I was watching the World Series last night. I'm a Red Sox fan because I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. Have to be. Cardinals were beating us 4-2, and I just got tired of it, and I went to bed. Boy, I went to bed at the wrong time, and I know that because of Twitter. Was just jammed with animated GIFs of the last play of the game and the controversy and the Cardinals fans and the Red Sox fans and all fighting over that. Twitter's really great for I don't generally read Twitter directly, though, and that's something I think that's going to be a problem for Twitter. The reason I mention Twitter is it looks like their initial public offering, their stock offering, is coming up this week, maybe next. The Twitter IPO, and we pay a lot of attention to this kind of thing in the tech community, more than we should. But this is going to be a big exit. It's going to make a lot of millionaires. People in the Bay Area are going to be very happy. There's some concern about it, of course, because the last big tech IPO, the Facebook IPO, was such a mess. They had to halt training. The computers broke down. New York Stock Exchange is preparing. They don't want now. The Facebook is on NASDAQ, the over-the-counter exchange, which is theoretically more technically savvy because it's all computers, you know. But NASDAQ didn't handle it well. So New York Stock Exchange says, we're going to show them NASDAQ guys how to run an IPO. So this weekend, for instance, they simulated the Twitter IPO. They tested it to see if they could handle the traffic, because there will be a lot of people who will try to buy this Twitter stock. Twitter says we're going to sell 70 million shares. The price will be somewhere between $17 and $20, perhaps as early as November 7th. And I think a lot of people who are not professional investors, especially, I said this with it. Now, by the way, I should do the disclaimer up front. I don't buy tech stock. I don't know anything about stocks. I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm not giving you stock advice. However, I think a lot of people go, oh, Twitter, I've heard of that. The kids all use it. No, first of all, the kids don't all use it. The kids all use it. Oh, it's huge. And I want to get in on that on the ground floor. Well, I don't think you're getting in on the ground floor. You may well be getting in at the end. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting when they do go public. It will if they go at that price, which is, by the way, about half what Facebook started, and Facebook offered many more shares. So Facebook raised a lot more money. It's all about raising money, right? Let's let me get the calculator out, because if you do $17 a share and you issue 70 million shares, you're thinking you're going to value it about $11.9 billion, or you're going to raise $11.9 billion. That's a lot of money. Wow, or is that right? Did I do that wrong? That's a lot of money. No, I'm sorry. 1.19 billion. All right. The valuation, though, since it's not all of the value in the company is being offered, is somewhere around $10 billion. But this is a company that's never made any money. Isn't this weird? Isn't it strange? I think it's only in the tech industry that a company can be valued at $10 billion or more dollars and never have made any money. Very strange. Very strange. You know who makes money on this, of course? The underwriters and the founders who walk away with a little pocket change, like $1 billion. We'll watch with interest. I just mentioned that because I do think we get our news from Twitter, but I think I don't, and I'm curious about you. Do you go to twitter.com or do you use a Twitter client? To post, I use a Twitter client. I use tap bots on my phone and on my iPhone and on my Mac. I use a program called Carbon on Android, or the Twitter. Sometimes I use the actual Twitter client. Twitter really wants you to use that. Most of the time, I don't get my Twitter feeds from Twitter. I get it from applications which look at my Twitter feeds, like Flipboard. You ever use Flipboard on your smartphone or tablet? Oh, it's a wonderful app. Turns your Twitter feed into a magazine. And then, because I don't really care what people had for lunch, so it doesn't give you that stuff so much as when they link to articles, it'll show the pictures in the articles. It'll actually give you the article, things like that. More and more, we're using these social networks as news feeds. I use a program daily called Prismatic. It was written by a guy named Brad Cross, Googler. Prismatic is takes your social network feeds, sees what your friends are looking at, and then makes a news feed out of it. You can go to Get Prismatic, Prismatic, getprismatic.com. And it's smart because it will say, oh, well, I see that you are interested in this, and I'll give you more of that. It uses Twitter to give you this stuff. It turns it into a very nice little magazine. This is how I get my news now. I don't read. I do read. I guess I look at newspaper websites, Wall Street Journal, New York Times and stuff. I'm always looking for tech news, browsing around for tech news. But the best way to get to know where to go is I look at these feeds, Flipboard and Prismatic. And they tell me what articles to read, and they get their information from Twitter. But the interesting point I'm making here is that Twitter gets no traffic from me, no benefit from this, no ads to show me. I don't know how they're going to make money. This is an interesting problem Twitter's going to face. I wonder if the stock market's going to know that or going to pay attention, or if they're just going to say, yeah, it's a stock, it's tech stocks, let's buy it. See, if you bought Google, you'd be making what 1,000%. If you bought Google when they went out, if you bought Apple when they went out, I don't know how much you would have made because they've doubled and or split. I guess not doubled, split. See, I don't know. Don't ask me about stocks. They split and they split and they split. Very, very interesting. We'll watch this. We'll watch this. You use Google. Somebody in the chat room says I use Google News. You know, I used to use Google News, news.google.com. It isn't using Twitter. It's done all kind of algorithmically. But I find I prefer. Well, I do them all. I check them all. I read all the news, so you don't have to, right? All right, well, let's go to the phone. Steve Gibson talking about CryptoLocker coming up. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Chris, well, see, I'm glad I went to Google News because now I see that Chris Brown is arrested in D.C. on a felony assault charge. See, I need to know that. That's the big story, of course.
Thank you.
Brooklyn mass. See, this is why I don't like news. I don't read news. Mass stabbings, blasts in India. You know, but then if you so I go right to the tech page. Boring. You really have to dig nowadays to find stories that are really important. This is kind of interesting, at least for San Franciscans. Google is building a floating data center off of Treasure Island. They've got a barge.
What?
Yes. Yes.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
I mean, you know, like we're getting close to Halloween, so San Francisco was completely unhinged last night.
Oh, I bet.
And some Uber driver is looking at his map and he's like, excuse me. He calls the person. He says, excuse me, sir, but it shows you in the middle of the bay. Can you explain where you are so I can come get you? And the guy was so wasted that he couldn't, but he was probably off on some pier.
I don't know where I am, man, but
well,
get
I'm
me.
that thing
I pushed that button. I don't know. Come get me. So this is what Google's building. This is weird. This
and
is
it's
weird.
going to float?
It's a floating data center in a barge off Treasure Island.
No.
Yeah.
That's a hoax.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my God.
4
it's
stories
ugly.
high. Google's got a patent for floating data centers.
Don't put it on my side where I have to look at it.
I know,
you
it's really ugly, but maybe
Like-
they put it out by the Farallons. I mean, maybe it just goes, I don't know.
You know, like, I'm going to Epic later today. I'm like, I don't want to look out at the water.
I don't blame
and see
you.
that. I
That's
just wanna
ugly.
see
It's
the bridge.
rusty.
Google, come on now.
Easy access to a source of cooling, the ocean. Inexpensive source of power, the sea. What? Really? Yeah. Google has a patent for floating data centers it got in 2009. It's kind of weird. Hangar 3 is in lockdown.
What?
Yeah, because
The
that's
place
where
where
they're...
they make vodka?
Yeah, no, not that hangar.
Oh, that's Hangar 1.
That's hangar 1. I don't know. These are the shipping containers. See here? Wow. They're now there. They'll paint it before they put it out to sea. They'll paint up the rust. They have a patent for water-based data center, a system that includes a floating platform-mounted computer data center comprising a plurality of computing units. They're seeming more and more strange.
Okay, but if something happens and that goes in the water, don't we all get electrocuted?
No, they have many of them. They have many, many of them.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
Did you hear about underwater Wi-Fi
No.
being invented?
They've invented underwater Wi-Fi.
They're working on it so that the fellas in the submarines, I guess, can...
Yeah, because, you know, if you're in a submarine, it's sad. You can't get Wi-Fi. I don't think they want Wi-Fi in submarines.
And then I think there was something about like, oh, but then the sharks will know where you are to come get you.
I don't think they want Wi-Fi in submarine. If you're in a... Oh, Colin, yeah. Oh, they're just killing the Jaguars. 28-0, Colin. Just first down. Oh
I'll kiss your biceps for you.
wow. Have some more Frango. It's getting you crazy.
I didn't even have one yet. It's just the smell of it.
Just the smell of them
Seriously.
is making her a crazy
brings
woman.
back memories.
So you're from Chicago. So you really?
At Christmas.
Oh, I had no idea. I will save from now on. When they bring me Frango, I will save it for you because they come out every year and they bring me Frango.
Who did this for us?
I can't remember their names. I've cruised with them many times.
Oh, cruisers.
Cruisers. Oh. Here we go. The late Lou Reed. I'm sorry to say that. And one of the greatest songs of all time. That makes me sad.
Yeah.
That's an example of something that when somebody says, oh, did you hear that X died, as they did in the chat room, first thing I do is go to Twitter and see. And, of course, Twitter's full of it. Rolling Stone reporting that the great Lou Reed, rock and roll singer, creator of the Velvet Underground, passed away this morning. Not many details. No further information. But that's why we thought we'd play a little. That's why my musical director, Nathan Staten, thought he'd play a little Lou Reed. Great man. Bring us all down. Thank you.
Well,
hey, people pass. It's what happens. He was
we
71 years old. You know, it's amazing he survived as long as he did. He had a liver transplant in May.
That's right.
Long-time heroin addict. I mean, yeah, it's amazing he got that far. But what a great singer. What a great songwriter.
And married to?
I don't know who.
Ms. Laurie Anderson.
No.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites. Wow.
The Widow Reed.
Musical royalty.
Yeah, for sure. But we can celebrate the gift he gave us.
I remember seeing her standing on the street corner in New York City with a funny lit-up helmet and a Casio synthesizer playing music. She was she was wild.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back to technology. This is why I do technology, because I don't have to get sad. Well, you know what? 2 years ago, we were pretty sad when Steve Jobs passed away. So, was it 2? Maybe it was only a year ago. It was a year ago. So let us, Heather Hammond, get a caller on here, huh?
Yes. Do you want to talk to Mark in Syracuse? Because it's stuff that you talked about
Mark.
just recently.
I know who we're
Yes,
talking
it's that
about.
Mark.
iDoc Mark Sekoenig. Hello, Mark. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
I get to be first call.
First call today. You were last call a couple of weeks ago. Actually, we didn't even get you on the air.
I was after the air.
Yeah.
Lou Reed was at Syracuse University when I came.
Really? Did you know him?
No, but he was here. His band would play around.
Oh, it's just I think that Walk on the Wild Side was one of the greatest.
One,
songs.
as you said, it happens to everybody till it's our turn. 2.
Yeah, then I don't want
drugs.
it. Yeah.
And drugs will do that.
Yeah.
2 questions. One is about MacBook Air and Mavericks. You know what I can't do anymore?
What?
Hold Control and scroll up with 2 fingers to zoom in and out.
So they did, I notice, disable and change some of the trackpad preferences.
It looks like it's 2 fingers apart and together, but that's it.
Yeah, so
Doesn't like to work as well.
Yeah, and I think the reason I always turned that one off because it would do it by accident, and it used to drive me crazy. So maybe that's what happened. When you upgrade to Mavericks, you're going to see a few odd changes, a few things that don't work. But for the most part, it isn't a particularly scary upgrade, and it certainly seems to be going well for people.
Correct.
Who use it. But so the which one is it? The 2 finger scroll up?
2 finger scroll up, holding Control made it so easy to zoom. I'm so used to when to use 1, 2, and 3 fingers.
Look,
and some of those
one of the
are really
things,
different.
So look in accessibility and see if they moved it there. They moved some system preferences around.
Okay, I don't have that computer with me here.
Yeah, I don't have a trackpad on this computer, so I can't. I do on this one though. Here, wait a minute, let me see. For instance, there used to be a setting in accessibility I have to turn on for. This is actually an improvement. I'd have to turn on for text expander, and now it's moved over into the security settings, which is where it should be actually. So there's some things like that, but for the most part, this isn't a very upsetting change.
There's another one I keep hearing about, but I haven't seen it as a problem at all, and that is they keep saying it doesn't work with Google Mail. It doesn't work with Gmail.
Yeah, I saw
well,
that.
I stopped years ago using Gmail except through a browser, and in the browser it doesn't do anything different. I can use, all my computers have Safari and Chrome, Google Chrome, and Firefox, and they all work.
I haven't had any problems either, but this came from an article from Tidbits.
Right.
By
Local people here.
Joe Kissel. Yeah, up your way. That's right.
But if you use it in a browser, it's not a problem at all.
Well, of course not. That won't.
You're downloading to the computer.
No, that's exactly right. It's Apple Mail. It doesn't change anything in the browser. The browser is always going to give you Google's preferred view,
and it works fine.
What Joe says is that Gmail. We've been getting a lot of people with problems with Gmail over the last 3 weeks. I don't know why. Joe says Gmail does kind of an oddball IMAP. That's the protocol, the language that Gmail uses to speak to clients like Apple's Mail. And he says Mail and Gmail were never a fantastic combination out of the box because Gmail, this is according to Joe Kissel at tidbits.com, has a wacky, I'll take his word for it, a wacky, highly non-standard way of using IMAP. And Mail always wanted to treat Gmail as though it were a conventional server. So part of the reason Joe had problems comes from the fact that he was doing some weird stuff before. And I never did any of this weird stuff. Gmail worked okay for me. Now, there are other clients that you can use that support Gmail directly. In fact, Google bought, and I'm waiting to see what Google does, Google bought a Mac client called Sparrow that was a really good Gmail client, but they killed it. And it may be that the Sparrow team is no longer going to work on Sparrow, which would be sad because that was a really nice Gmail client. So here's what I do, and maybe the reason I avoid this problem is because I do this. I use Gmail. When people send me, I have a fairly complicated setup, and this is a setup I recommend. If you have, if you're just giving out a Gmail address, mark@gmail.com, the problem is if you decide at some point, I don't like Gmail, this is weird, or Gmail goes out of business, unlikely. But for whatever reason, you stop using Gmail, you have to tell everybody change of address. So what I do is I registered my own domain name, get, idocmark.com or whatever, and get that domain name. And then, and you can do this in a lot of places, tell the domain name system, it's a little tricky, but you can do this, to forward your mail. They'll have instructions wherever you register. At hover.com, where I register my stuff, is set up to do this automatically. So I forward all my mail from my domain, my own personal domain name, to Gmail. But I could forward it anywhere, right? Actually, I'm trying to remember how I do this. It's so complicated, I've forgotten. I use another service called Fastmail as my IMAP server. And they work very well with Apple Mail. So perhaps, I can't remember if I'm forwarding mail to IMAP and then have Gmail get it. You can do that, You can have Gmail get the mail from somewhere else. Or, and you could do this too, have Gmail, all the mail go to Gmail and then have Fastmail get it from Gmail. You could do that too. Gmail is very flexible about that. You don't ever have to use Gmail directly. So if you're having trouble with your Google Mail, your Gmail, then maybe have it, get another service that works well. Fastmail is very good. Really like it, fairly inexpensive. And have it get the mail from Google Mail. Reason I go through Google Mail is this anti-spam stuff in Google Mail is so good. I love it. It gets rid of all my spam. It's the best anti-spam filter. And then, frankly, I also use it on my mobile devices or browsers because I can just go get my mail that way and it works quite well. P.O. Box, somebody's saying, POBox.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He says the all-mail problem is the problem, and that may be. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Lou Reed. Yeah, I don't use MailRoute anymore, Uncle Bick. And it's funny. I had a little trepidation turning off MailRoute because I knew they were getting millions of bits of spam every day. Hey, Steve.
Hey, my friend.
Thank you so much for doing this. But I turned it off, and Gmail does such a good job I didn't even notice. And Gmail, I think, has a better solution, which is basically human-powered collaborative filtering. So Gmail looks and gets rid of some spam, but it also, you can mark stuff spam. Whoops. Don't want to zoom on you. Holy cow. Thank you for, I know it's probably your time off. And
oh, I'm happy to do it. I think
it's
it's
so important.
Exactly.
Now, is this a new virus?
Yeah, it's only about 3 weeks old.
Okay. And the way you get it is by attachment, generally. It looks like a PDF.
Yes.
But
clicking
it's
on
an
links
EXE.
is, yeah, so really our message is that there has been a change. Traditionally, viruses were only a nuisance, and you'd take your computer down to Best Buy or somewhere, or your own.
He sounds good though. You they want to call you back. Is he on Skype One? Yeah. I think we got to do something about Skype One. Okay, we're gonna call you back, Steve, because the picture's bad.
Okay, cool.
I think
I'm
Skype
having a problem with one of my two T1s, and they're both up at the moment.
Maybe it's you.
So it's lower. It's probably a bandwidth constraint.
Okay.
So if we can go without video, then audio will be perfect.
Yeah, we don't need video. It's a radio show.
Let's do that.
And everybody knows what you look like.
Yeah.
Okay. Sab, I never did that show on CNET. Richard Hart did it, Ryan Seacrest. I never did a show for CNET. I was their third employee, but they fired me or didn't retain me or something. So, no, I never did that show.
Yeah, so anyway, I think our message is that things are different now, that the new breed of malware will really hurt you. So backups, so avoiding getting infected is even more critical than ever, because it's not just a simple nuisance that you remove it from your machine and change your search preferences back the way they used to be, or put your home page back where it was. Now it's like deleting your documents.
Right. Right.
And so backing up and being really, really careful about clicking links in email, because it's primarily phishing email that is getting people.
I'll probably ask you, too, about the difference between hot backup and cold
yes.
backup.
Yep. Good. Yeah, and I'm happy that I'm just sitting here working, so no problem at all.
Thank you. You working on Squirrel?
I am.
All right.
Yep. And in the news group, we're at Lord knows how many postings now.
It's so great.
It really
I'm
is.
really glad about the traction it's got. That's fabulous.
Yeah, and someone just gave a present. I got a tweet from someone about a presentation that they gave yesterday at some conference in the South, and he said it was an absolute hit. Everybody there understood it, and he was really happy to have. So we're at 3,193 postings.
Wow.
So it's just, but it's good.
Wow.
In a couple of weeks, and people are just like, okay, I can't keep up with this. But the good news is it's beginning to slow down now, and people have come by and they've left, and only the core group are staying around. So,
right.
And we're making really great progress. So
here we go.
Yep.
Nothing more scary. The treehouse of CryptoLocker than viruses. Steve Gibson is a security expert. He does our Security Now podcast every Wednesday on the Twit network at twit.tv, but he's also a long-time, well-known antivirus and spyware researcher. In fact, coined the term spyware, wrote the first anti-spyware program. His program, Shields Up at grc.com, is used by many to test their internet connections to make sure it's not vulnerable to hacking. And I thought I'd bring him on because we talked about this on Security Now on Wednesday, but I think everybody needs to know about it. It's called CryptoLocker, and it's a new virus. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Leo. Great to be with you.
Thanks for spending some time on a Sunday morning with us.
Well, yeah, I thought it was really important because this is sort of something new. This new CryptoLocker, which an alarming number of people are falling victim to, it actually encrypts all the documents in their personal documents folder, and even other files that it can find in thumb drives or on the network. It's able to reach out essentially from your computer, but it encrypts them in such a way that no expert, truly no one is able to decrypt it. Not even the NSA.
We've
are
seen
able
this
to
category
decrypt
of
it.
software before. It's called ransomware, where you'll get a virus on your system, malware on your system, and it puts up a sign. Usually it says, "This is the FBI, give us money, and we'll let you access your computer." But in the past, that stuff is an expert could get around it. This is not like that. This literally does strong encryption on your data, and there is no expert that can get around it.
Correct.
They ask for money, right?
Yeah, they ask for about $300 US or euros or the equivalent in bitcoins. They'll take your money in many different ways, and the idea is that they do have a key which can be used to decrypt your data. So basically, it's holding your files at ransom, and if you don't pay them, they really are gone.
You have 72 hours to send them the money. After that, they delete the key, and it doesn't matter. You know, you could beg and plead all you want. No one can encrypt it. Your data's gone.
Correct. It shows a countdown timer with how much time is left.
And worse, apparently, law enforcement has misguidedly found the servers that these keys, sometimes finds the servers these keys are on, and shuts them down, which means you may not even have 72 hours. If law enforcement gets to the server, the keys are gone, even if you pay the money. So
yeah, the way to think about this, I think, is backing up is now more important than ever. You're not backing up just in case your hard drive crashes or something bad happens to your computer. But if you got infected by this, there's really no guarantee you can get your data back.
do we know who's doing this?
No, so far they've managed to hide themselves. The way they're accepting cash is through money packs. And in fact, some of the retailers that offer money packs have said they're having a hard time keeping them in stock now because so many people are buying them in order to try to get their files back.
There's a run on them. They also accept Bitcoin, which is a much less common but equally anonymous form of payment.
Right.
It may not even be just one group. We've seen this with ransomware before. Somebody sells a kit, and then various groups will spread this around. It could be coming from a variety of different people. How do you get this virus?
I think the problem is that it's making people a lot of money. And so they're going to be copycats.
Right.
My concern is we're talking now about the first one, but this is the first of, I'm afraid, many, because this is going to be the new model for what happens when you get your computer infected. And to answer your question, most of it seems to be so-called phishing mail, where email is sent to you that looks authentic. It looks like it's from your bank. It looks like it's from PayPal. It looks like something you may not expect, but it's reasonable, and they get you to click on a link. Or sometimes they'll say, we just deducted some money from your PayPal account. And you go, what? And you click on it before you think.
I've seen one example. It looks like it's from a bank, and it says, we've received a wire transfer to you in your name. Attached is the fax. It has the extension .pdf, but hidden, it's really a .pdf.exe. When you double-click it, it doesn't launch a PDF or Adobe Reader. It launches an executable, and by the time you've figured that out, you're dead. Does an antivirus prevent this?
You know, so far it is managing to get past all the AV, although it is so new. It's only about 3 weeks from the first time we saw it, so there is some delay before the antivirus vendors catch up. There's also a tool which is supposed to prevent its infection, which is available for free, where it deliberately blocks some of the specific behaviors that this CryptoLocker does. The problem with that is, if that got traction, the CryptoLocker authors would easily circumvent it and work their way around. So really just being extremely careful, clicking on links in email, and really have a backup, because you unfortunately may need it.
Now, there are backups and backups. If you have what's called a hot backup, this may not be enough.
Yeah, exactly. Because for example, if you're backing up to like you have a family or residential network attached storage, if it can see the files, it can encrypt them. So that's
it can encrypt your backup. And furthermore, you could back up encrypted files. Once it's encrypted, if you don't catch it right away, those files could be backed up as well on top of your good copies. So you want a backup system that isn't local, can't be seen as a drive letter from your computer, your presumably affected computer, and you want a backup that has what's called versioning, so that you can go to a previous unencrypted version. But if you do, then you do have recourse. Best thing, though, not to get this. There is no Mac version of this yet. It is
Windows
program.
only.
Right.
Yep. And again, I'm just worried that, everything we've seen, mostly, historically, viruses have been an annoyance. This is new, and it's not like this cryptography is rocket science. All of the code to do this is in the public domain. It's common knowledge how to produce this kind of system, and I don't think we've seen the last of it. I think this is the first of it.
Well, it just reinforces how important it is to practice safe computing, not to be very suspicious of attachments, whether they come from somebody you know or not, to be very careful about clicking links in email. Never click a link directly in email and let a web page open. That's always dangerous. Or instant messenger, or on Facebook, or on Twitter. If you see links, a lot of my Twitter friends have been hacked lately, and I get direct messages from them with links. And, that could easily fool you because it's a direct message, private message from a friend.
One of the best little sort of pithy bits of advice we have is, if you did not go seeking it, don't do it.
Right.
That is something that's offered to you. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we have to view that with suspicion. So, manually go to the bank's website that sent you email, or that you believe sent you email. You initiate the action rather than letting someone push the action on you. Because
if you get an email from your bank, you could just type in the URL in your browser. That would be safe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And don't count on your antivirus to protect you. While they are getting updated quickly, they may not block that initial infection. And, of course, it's a cat and mouse game. As soon as the antiviruses come up with detection routines, the bad guys change how it works.
Exactly.
Get around it. Steve Gibson's at grc.com. He's a great resource to the community. If you haven't listened to his Security Now podcast, I'm a little biased. I co-host it with him. Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern at twit.tv, or just download it from twit.tv/SN. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Leo.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Your call's next. Perfectly executed. I might want to use that in the twit. Let's save that for twit. Maybe pull that in, and I could say earlier today I talked to Steve Gibson. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, my friend. See you.
All right, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, since we've already done it, it's probably, I could say here early today I talked to Steve Gibson. It's the same as if he shows up, and it's more, I know how long it'll be, too. Yeah, I know I had some glitches, but mostly it was fine. Let's save that for twit today when Chad gets in, and I could drop that in because we need to spread the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I want to mention one of our great sponsors, a brand new sponsor on the show, IT Pro TV. It's at itpro.tv, and they are people where you can go and learn and get your certs for a lot of different Microsoft, Cisco, your A+ certs, but in a fun way. If you go to itpro.tv/techguy, take a look. What they do is, frankly, and they're completely upfront about it, and I support it, copying the screensavers. And it's really great. I think they do a fabulous job. You can watch live streaming. You can watch downloads. They got 20 hours of new content every week and hundreds of hours on there right now. They say bringing personality to information, and that's absolutely true. Let's just see if they're doing anything live right now. They've got CompTIA, Microsoft, Cisco, and more. Their courses cover network security, laptop repair, VLAN, subnetting, all sorts of stuff. And they've just really done a great job. This is not live today. It's Sunday morning, of course not. But look how that looks like, the screensavers. They've just done such a great job. There's direct interaction with the host just as we do. They have live chat during the show, web-based Q&A specific to the topic being studied. You pay one low monthly price, so it's all access. Shows are streamed live but on demand also on Roku as well as your computer and mobile device, HD and SD. This is a great way. Even if you're studying with a book or you're in a certification or technical degree program, this is going to be a great supplement for you. These guys, I have to confess, these guys were inspired not only by the screensavers but by Twit. They've got the same cameras and microphones and lighting and the TriCaster. I think they just do a great job. And look how great that set looks. They were in here about a month ago, and we had so much fun. Highly recommend it. If you want to find out more or watch some of the shows, itpro.tv, itpro.tv/techguy. And here's the pitch, which I love. You can get 50% off the lifetime of your account. Half off when you use the offer code TG50. I don't think it's U.S. only, Java, but try it. itpro.tv/techguy, the offer code TG50. Doesn't say U.S. only. But I mean, we're talking a great deal, 50% off. So much more affordable than doing the certification, at a school, that kind of thing. Normally it's $57 a month, $570 a year, but with half off, you're talking $28.50 a month. They do such a good job, and they make it so much fun. I'm really kind of proud of them. I love it. This is itpro.tv, and see, there's the chat room, so you can chat along with them. I just think this is so great. itpro.tv. I'm logged into my account. I'll show you some of the great classes. I think eventually we cover some of these issues, but we definitely don't, get there deeply into the certification stuff. And I love it. They have a Roku channel. That makes it really easy. You can watch it in the gym. What a deal. Love it. Thank you for giving us that big discount. itpro.tv/techguy. Who's on Twit today?
I haven't looked yet.
They said great panel. Who's on Dem90? We have not yet got the screensavers tapes. We're negotiating, Mr. McButterpants. We're trying. We have approached the owners and trying to negotiate with them. But, they want money. I don't understand it. We've actually offered them money. We've offered them as a split of the revenue we make from it. Nick Bilton is today, actually, come to think of it. It is, in fact, Baratunde, Nick Bilton, and Brian Brushwood, and John C. Dvorak. Damn it, I forgot my
You were bringing something from a phone.
I forgot my HTC One. Let me text Lisa and see if she's still there.
Oh, and lunch.
Well, I would like lunch, yes. I wasn't able to unlock it, so he may not want it. Turns out you have to own something for 6 months before you can unlock it with AT&T. You totally can, PG Teacher. Please use it for your computer tech class. Anybody who wants to use that segment can use it. We will post it, of course, on the website, in the next day or so.
But it's Premiere, it's not Twit.
I know, but I'm going to tell them it's okay. What if we run it on Twit? Then it becomes Twit. I don't think Premiere would mind.
No.
I think they would understand the need for this. Just make sure you credit it.
So, super salad.
Salad, please. So what? So are the comments not working, or what? Because I certainly would love to get your feedback on that. Untoward. We've been having trouble with that server. Is the server still screwed up? Can people post comments?
Working, just the locations can't be entered. Lullabot is going to have a proposed solution tomorrow.
So Untoward says he's trying to comment on yesterday's SSD call, and he can't add a comment. Commenting should be on?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens, Untoward, when you try to comment?
Well, he wouldn't do that. That's what we do.
Oh, yes, I am a Niners fan. strategy teacher. Yeah, Windows only. It's not an Android virus. It's not. Although, you know, if somebody wanted to take the time to write this for other platforms, it wouldn't be so hard to do. What would be hard is getting it on the other platforms. There's, you know, one thing that Mavericks has done is improve security considerably more. Molly Wood we talked to, but she has her own projects she's pursuing. I am very excited, Jeff. Lisa moves tomorrow, and I move Friday. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. And again, thanks Steve Gibson for just being there and helping us answer these questions about this virus, which is truly nasty. Truly nasty. Carl in Newport Beach, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Carl. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. Hi, Carl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Trying to decide if I should just bury my computer under a couple feet of concrete.
Or throw it down the stairs, or, yeah. What is going on?
In this case, I've got my dad, his HP color laserjet printer, finally decided to go and die, and he's asking around looking for recommendations on what to get. I mean, he's not like a heavy printer user. It's just the laser printer was nice because he wouldn't ever have to replace the toner cartridge.
Well, here's the beauty of it. Laser printers have dropped considerably in price. They're very inexpensive right now. Does he want a multifunction? Does he want the ability to scan, copy?
He kind of is, because that's when he asked, should I get something? That's what he pointed to.
Yeah.
He pointed to a little Epson MFP.
Yep, that's exact. Well, now, some of the Epsons are inkjet, and he's right about the consumable issue, and the fact that you have to change the cartridges a lot, but also that they're expensive, and the cost per page is a lot. So a laser is a good choice. I use a Workforce printer, but I have to say Epson's a sponsor, but that's all I buy is Epson printers. HP does make some very inexpensive, very good laser printers. They're very good. So it's hard for me to say don't get somebody else.
Are there laser MFPs?
Oh yeah. Does he want color?
Yeah, he pretty much does.
Okay. MFP, by the way, is multifunction printer. So laser, color, multifunction printers. I think I just look on Amazon. There are a lot of Canon, Dell, Panasonic, HP. PC World did a roundup last December, it might be kind of dated, in which they said the Brother was the best, the MFC 9970. Brother does make good, inexpensive stuff. You know, we're talking under $500 for that one, which is a little expensive. I mean, you look at inkjet printers, you can get an $80 inkjet printer, but they make it up in the ink. They give away the inkjet printer effectively because they're going to make it up in the ink. Can't do the same.
Yeah, I don't think he's looked at the price of the cartridge refills yet with an inkjet.
Right. So
you'd have to change toner cartridges maybe once in the whole lifetime of the laser.
Yeah, laser usually get 1,000 to 5,000. You get a lot of sheets. Here's a less expensive, a $400 Brother. Color laser multifunction printer. PC World liked that a lot. You know, I'm at a disadvantage because I can't try all the different printers out there. I am a huge Epson fan, the Workforce, but that is an inkjet. Those Workforce Pros are just dynamite. I've been very happy with them. HP is also a good brand. Uncle Bick in the chat room says he's not happy with Brother in general. It's unreliable. He likes HP better. So the cost per sheet of print of a laser is usually on the order of 1 or 2 cents. For inkjet, it could be anywhere from a nickel to a dime per page. So there's a significant difference in what they call the consumables, the cost of the ink, basically. So if he's going to choke and say $400, but on the other hand, you know, he'll make it up down the road. He won't have to change that cartridge.
Okay, I will take a look.
All right,
And
LaserJet from HP is always great.
Cool. And thanks very much. I'm going to have to remember now when I head back for Christmas, even though my grandparents have a Mac, I'm going to want to remember to talk to them about backups anyway.
Oh, yeah. You know, probably more common than this virus is just hard drive death. They die, and people, assume that they're reliable and they're not. So, yeah, everybody, even Mac people, have to pay attention to this one. Kira is on the line. Hi, Kira. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. You're buying a new phone, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have to upgrade, and I have Sprint, and I've been using my BlackBerry for 4 years.
Well, it's hard to recommend a BlackBerry these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to get rid of.
I know. Well, what is it about the BlackBerry you're attached to? It's that keyboard, isn't it?
Yep, it's a keyboard because it clicks.
It clicks, yeah.
So I was looking for something that you could do Gmail, email on, and Facebook.
Well, we can
text.
We can tell you right now. First of all, any smartphone, email, texting, Facebook, web browsing, all of them will do that.
Okay.
In fact, they'll do it better than the BlackBerry ever did it.
Okay.
So that's the good part. The bad news is that these physical keyboards are just dying. You don't see many phones with physical keyboards. Can you live without a physical keyboard?
I'm gonna have to.
Well, you don't have to. Let me check and see if Sprint has any good physical keyboards, because there are some smartphones with good keyboards. There's a Motorola that I really like. There's a Droid that really has a great keyboard. And I just question is, does Sprint offer it? Do you have a Sprint store near you where you can go in and just look at the different phones? Because it's probably a good idea to try them.
Yeah. There's a Sprint store near me.
Yeah. The Photon has a physical keyboard from a Motorola.
But I can go without the keyboard and use a touch keyboard.
I think you should try it because you might get used to it. And by not having a physical keyboard, you can get a better phone, thinner, lighter.
Okay.
So I think there's something to be said for that. This is your first non-BlackBerry phone?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. This is exciting. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting. This is a great opportunity. You might want to look at an iPhone. Sprint has the iPhone.
Okay.
And certainly there's a lot of support. They have 1 million apps now. That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Let me
what about something like the Samsung?
The Galaxy S4. Do you want a big screen?
Yeah.
I think the Galaxy Note is actually a pretty nice phone. I'd take a look at the Galaxy Note.
Okay.
The Note 3 just came out, and I'm pretty sure Sprint will have it.
Okay.
I'm trying to go to the Sprint site and just see what they've got here. Yeah, go ahead.
What's so big about the iPhone? Now they don't. they ran out of the iPhone S5, and now they got the iPhone C. What is the difference?
Well, big difference. The 5S has a fingerprint reader, and it's also updated a little bit. It's a little bit faster, better processor. The 5C is colorful, but it's the same as last year's 5. Just a little more colorful. I would take a look at the Note 3. Now, it's really big, so you should go play with it at the Sprint store. They do have it, and that would be one you should play with. I'll tell you one I love. It's the most beautiful phone ever made, and I think prettier than an iPhone is the HTC One. They have that for $100.
Okay, the HTC One.
Yeah, I really like that phone. They also sell the Moto X, and this is the phone I carry, and I really like it. It's a very simple, attractive phone, $99. It is the Moto, M-O-T-O X. It is, in my opinion, while it's not state-of-the-art in terms of the specifications, the processor speed and all that, it is the sweet spot in terms of size and functionality. I'm just a big fan of the Moto X. That's the phone I use, so take a look at those 3 at your Sprint store. You might find the 3 is too big for your hand. The Moto X feels good to me. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, $99. And that's the problem. The Galaxy Note is $250. So they do have the G2, which is pre-order. As I think used to say, I think the Moto X is really. It's funny. I'm really gun shy about recommending it, and I shouldn't be. But because I love it. I mean, I literally am in love. She wanted Android. She didn't. I don't think an iPhone was right for her. Maybe Windows Phone, but they don't have Lumias, and so that's kind of a drag. This to me is just the right size. It's a very clean, because it's almost pure Google. So it's a clean experience, and I think a very usable phone. And so Web2275 saying how much memory is on it. Well, you can get it in 16 or 32, but I don't think that's really relevant.
Have you seen Beamer, the app, the Android app yet?
Which one?
Beamer, it's like fantastic. It's just like it's basically like a home screen.
It's called Beamer?
Themer.
Themer. Oh, yeah, I know Themer. Yeah. That's a nice, look at this. Let me show you Burke's home screen. He's used Themer to make it very cool looking. That is a beautiful home screen. That's just how it came out of the box?
Yeah.
That is pretty.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can get really colorful and not just with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the toolkit. Where'd my toolkit go? iFixit.com. Love this. Love this. IT Pro and Linda are different. IT Pro is really certificate focused. Linda gives you all sorts of general, or specific, but not specifically focused towards certification. Could your SkyDrive files be affected? Only if SkyDrive showed up as a letter on, if you set it up so that it showed up as a letter on your drive.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour from Premier Radio Networks.
Hey, Tim, thank you. So that offer code is good internationally. Tim's in our chat room. In fact, if you have questions about IT Pro TV, ask Tim. He's there. Tim-IT Pro TV. Also, awesome. I'll mention this next time. You know, I have the Xbox One on pre-order, but I didn't order any games. I should get some games, shouldn't I? No, a new BlackBerry would not be good. I can't recommend a BlackBerry at this point. They could go out of business any day now. Yeah, I use the iFixit kit all the time. I love it. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And hour number 2 of the Tech Guy Show. Time to talk computers, the internet. We're going to talk digital photography with Chris Marquardt in about half an hour. We'll talk about smartphones. Somebody in the chat room said, Leo, why didn't you tell our caller, Kira, in Ontario to get a BlackBerry? She has a BlackBerry now. Because it would be hard in good conscience. While I do like the new BlackBerry operating system, I think some of the BlackBerry phones are pretty nice, and BlackBerry even offers one. What is it, the QX with or QC or whatever with QX10 is I can't remember, with a keyboard. But it's hard to recommend that you buy a phone from a company that is on the verge, on the edge of going out of business. Q10, all right. I think that even if the Q10 were a great phone, and it's not a bad phone, it's not the best, it's not a bad phone, and she'd certainly be comfortable with it. What if BlackBerry goes under? Then what do you do? I think there are better choices out there. And I think an Android phone, a well-made Android phone like the Moto X is a good choice. And I think while people who have never used an on-screen keyboard might say, oh, I can't use that, give it a week. Try it for a little while. You might get used to it. I admit it's not as good as a physical keyboard, but there are other advantages. You get a much bigger screen, for instance. Much bigger screen. So I'm going to stand by my recommendation. I am. Hard for me to recommend the iPhone, given its price, and given the fact that Apple just hasn't really done much. I like the fingerprint reader, but I feel like the phone itself is a little bit behind the times. A lot of people love it. Now, later this week, probably, Google's next phone, the Nexus 5, should come out, Rumors are October 31st or November 1st. The Nexus 5 will be very affordable. We're pretty sure it'll be about $350, and it looks to have state-of-the-art specs. It'll be a phone that the geeks will love, especially at $350. I will be buying one quickly, but it will be unlocked, and you'll probably want to use it on T-Mobile. It will not be appropriate for Sprint, in all likelihood. But I'm saving a SIM. I'm saving a SIM for you, Nexus 5. I'm waiting. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number to call. Carl is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hi, Carl. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo.
Hey, welcome to the show. What can I do for you?
I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller, since from the Tech TV days.
Wow, that is very long time. Thank you.
I have a question about a game capture device. I've been looking to doing a little streaming on Twitch, and I was looking for the best device for the money.
So Twitch is neat. Twitch.tv. It allows Justin.tv owns it. It allows you to stream video games, stream gameplay, and in fact, it's like YouTube for playing video games. And if you love games, it's really fun to watch. It's really exciting to do commentary. You can stream your game. You can create a fan community of people who like to watch you play. If you're really good at something, you can show them that, but even if not. So I am not sure what people use for Twitch. My guess is they're using software on a PC in most cases, something like Fraps. But if you want to use hardware, and I'm relying on the chat room for this, never having done it, Addyman in the chat room says the HD PVR2 GE is a good device. Make Use Of has an article which we'll put up, how to stream live on Twitch. We'll put that up. But this is from Hapag, the company with the unpronounceable name. Hapag is a town on Long Island, and I don't know how this company has stayed in business. Let me spell it for you. It's actually I think I've been told it's pronounced Hapag. Hapag. HAUPPAUGE.com. Oh, good luck. Oh, good luck. It might be better just to Google HD PVR2. So this is a little box that allows you to record, edit, upload, and even stream from your PC, but also your Xbox 360 and PS3. You can also include in-game chat. So this looks pretty cool. Looks like a really, really cool device. Not too expensive. I think a good choice. If you could just remember how to spell Hapag. It's $149. HAUPPAUGE. What game do you play?
I play on the Xbox 360, but I also play with Nintendo and Super Nintendo and things like that as well.
Oh, it'd be fun. I think people would enjoy SNES stuff. I don't see a lot of that. I don't know. I guess it would work. If it works with the Xbox, it should work. Check the inputs and see if it's probably HDMI, but let me see if it would take RF, because that's probably all you can get out of the Nintendo. You might have to get an adapter for that. Yeah. So are you going to get an Xbox One?
I was thinking about it. I had one on pre-order. I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to pick it up the day it came out, though.
I have it on pre-order, but now I have to order some games. And I was just going to ask you for some advice. I don't know what games to get on this. It's a beautiful device, and of course, it's got the Kinect built in now. You can't buy the Xbox One without buying the Kinect. That's the camera that watches you and allows you to move around. If you like zombies, I guess Species says Dead Rising 3 will be a good choice. If you want to be a Roman soldier, they've got what is it, Rise with a Y. They have a great ad for the Xbox One out now, showing all the games. Of course, the PlayStation 4 is going to come out before that. So we've got, in the next few weeks, if you know people who are serious gamers, expect them to disappear. They're going to disappear because they're going to start playing video games. The game I was really excited about, Watch Dogs, is delayed. That's a game where you basically wander around a city, it looks like New York, and you can hack everything. People, newspaper boxes, payphones, anything. You can hack them. But that's much delayed at last. That was going to be on both Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Well, so there's the recommendation, and that comes from the chat room, Carl. That's what they say, and I don't know anything about how to get games on Twitch, so that I guess would be the best thing to do. Let's say hi to Lewis in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Lewis.
Hello, Leo.
How are you?
All right. I don't think this is connected to the dark side and the new viruses that are out, but it might be. I have not been receiving Gmail. The only Gmail I've received is the Gmail notices that I have calendar events on my Google Calendar.
You are the third person in 3 weeks with this question, and I'm really wondering what's going on with Gmail. I have not yet tracked this down. I'll give you the advice we have been giving out as our standard advice. And this will tell you if Gmail is filtering stuff and you didn't realize it, or if the mail's coming in but you just didn't know it. If you go to your Gmail and you look in the right-hand the left-hand column, you'll see there is a button that says More, so you can see more of your folders. Click that button, and you'll see in there a All Mail button. That's the one that you want to click. If you click All Mail, you don't have that button?
I have the button, but nothing new.
There's no new mail in there.
There's no new mail in there.
Aha.
I get Google Voice, Google Calendar alerts, and the latest thing I've gotten from the social networks is 2 days from Facebook, which I don't like. But
so you people are sending mail to your email address, and you know it for a fact, but you're not getting it. All right, hang on. We're going to talk when we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I don't like zombie games. XSplit. Oh, okay. I don't know XSplit. Let me mention that. You know, we can stream to Twitch, but we've got some pretty fancy stuff. Huh. XSplit Broadcaster. So it's software. Huh. So is it only for, it's only for PC games, right? All right, let me search for Xbox One games. Call of Duty Ghosts? No. Rise. I'm very tempted by Rise, but is it just a fighting game? I don't want Dead Rising. I don't like zombies. I'm sick of zombies. Maybe Assassin's Creed. That looks like fun. That's a pirate game, right? I mean, I've played the other Assassin's Creeds, but this is like now we're on a pirate ship or something. Not my favorite game in the world. I like games like BioShock Infinity. Destiny. What's this one? Looks like a Halo ripoff. Yeah, I'm not a... Forza 5 looks like a great racing game, but I'm not a big... I drive enough. Ooh, what's Titanfall? I want Watch Dogs. Not till 2014. Oh, these are all 2014. Bungie does good stuff. Let me look at this one. This is still also not till March 2014. Yeah, you know, big mech kind of... Maybe I'll get Dead Rising. Let me look at Rise. What is the gameplay like on Rise? That's what I want to know. You think Destiny? It looks like Halo. I would not get the Olympus pen. I would get the Olympus OMD. It's better than the pen, and it's the MFT camera I use. Love it. Skyrim I've played. I love Skyrim. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm looking at the Google App Status Dashboard. Google has a website. I'll put the link in the show notes. Very long. That reports there was a problem with Google Apps Gmail back in September. They say it's all better. And it says Gmail message delivery and attachment download is functioning normally for all users as of 1600 Pacific time, September 23rd. So that was a one-day event. And you know, Gmail is greenlit right now. I just don't. If you're having a problem with Gmail, it's probably a local problem. Because if Gmail were really not working, I think we'd hear about it. I use it. A lot of people use Gmail, and I think it would be a big deal if Gmail were down. So if you are looking at your all mail and you see no mail in there, and you're gonna wonder what's going on with your Gmail. Maybe your account's been suspended. I presume, sent yourself some email. The other thing that Gmail does that I like, and I think it's a really useful tool, down at the bottom right of your Gmail inbox, you'll see last account activity and then a details link, which will show you who's logged on to your Gmail and when. And from what country. So that'll really tell you, if anybody's messing with your Gmail, which I guess could be a problem. But if, I don't have a fix for you. It can't be. It's not a universal Gmail problem. Otherwise, it'd be a top of the Twitter. It'd be a big news story. Front page. Here's a link in our chat room to a support answer. But I don't think it's going to be very useful. My messages skip the inbox. Yeah, see, that's why I want you to look at all mail. All mail, if you're just looking at your inbox, it may be that filtering or something is keeping your inbox empty. But that's why if you go to that all mail tab on the left, you will see everything, including archived mail, filtered mail. It's possible that you have an email client, Lewis, that's downloading it and deleting it from the server. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a universal issue. You've sent yourself email and nothing shows up.
When I sent myself a test email, it did show up. Now, I do have it linked to Yahoo and my website, info at my website. That I also should see those through Gmail, but I'm not.
Well, that's interesting. I don't. So you are able to send yourself maybe, and it's not conceivable that nobody's sent you anything.
That's not conceivable because I receive a bunch of stuff every day, including things that I go to. I'm a ham radio operator, and we have a ham feast on Saturday nights, and I missed 2 of them because I didn't know about them. Oh,
nuts. What could that be? Do you have, if you have set up maybe the Yahoo to gather mail from Gmail and delete it, you want to make sure you look at all the places that could be doing that, because you can have a client set up as a PopMail client, and normally PopMail will delete the mail from the server. You don't want that with Google. You want to leave it on the server. I don't know why we're getting so many calls about this.
Can you give me a little bit about PopMail versus IMAP?
Yes.
And what you do and don't need?
So these are two different email protocols. We use the word protocol to describe the set of rules about how a software server works, how you would get mail, for instance, and send mail. So the get mail servers, there's 2 kinds. There's Post Office Protocol, or POP. The current version is POP 3. And there's IMAP, which stands for something, but I don't remember what. Something about mail. The difference is that POP is designed, and most internet service providers use POP, to use the server, the mail server, just as a temporary storage place. With a POP mail, like your internet service provider, you would launch Outlook or whatever your email client is, it would go get the mail, delete it from the server because you've already got it. AOL, a lot of places use that kind of mail. That's the old-fashioned kind of mail. Nowadays,
I use no Outlook. I use no Outlook, Leo.
What do you use for on your desktop for email?
I don't. I just go to my browser.
You use it in the browser.
Go to Gmail.
Now, do you use Yahoo to get your Gmail?
Well, people send things to Yahoo, and it arrives in my Gmail box.
So it's the other way around, probably. You're getting, look at the configurations on Gmail and Yahoo. One of the things you can do on Gmail in the settings is disable POP. If you don't have a POP client getting mail, turn it off. IMAP, which is the Internet, now somebody told me in the chat room, and it's scrolled up, Internet Message Access Protocol. IMAP is the opposite. It wants to keep the mail on the server, and then your mail client, Outlook or whatever, is just a view into it, and the folder organization and everything is maintained on the server. Now, you could still delete messages from the server, but you have to set up your email client to work that way. Generally, POP is kind of old-fashioned. IMAP's the way it works, and if you use webmail, it's kind of like IMAP. You have a view of the mail, but you don't actually download it or clear the server. I would turn off POP mail in your Gmail settings. I would at least do that. I'm baffled. Unless somebody's broken into your Gmail account. And that's why I want you to go look at those details, the right-hand side of the inbox at the very bottom in the fine print, and make sure that all the logins to Gmail are yours. Because one thing a bad guy might do, I don't, typically you wouldn't want to do this. You want to, if you get into somebody's Gmail account, you just want to sit there and watch. But if a bad guy wanted to take over your Gmail account, he might set a filter that would delete all the mail. I can't think of anything else that would cause you no longer to receive mail that's being sent to Gmail. Make sure that they're sending it to Gmail, I guess. Yours went through. That's baffling. I don't know. Best I can offer, Lewis. Do check the details. Make sure you haven't been hacked. But since yours went through, I don't think that's it either. Dave in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you doing, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Hey, I've got a Western Digital MyBook 2 terabyte backup external drive.
Yeah.
And I got all my movies on there, but I also use Western Digital's backup program to have backups on from my computer.
Yeah.
And I want to be sure that backup software works. And if my hard drive was to crash on my computer, then
yeah. And it's hard because it's a big blob you can't really look into, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't recommend that kind of software. I would not use the Western Digital software, but use a disk synchronization program that would synchronize the folders on both drives. I've mentioned yesterday I use Second Copy by Centered Systems. There are others. Don't use the WD software. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our Tech Guy show today, the podcast brought to you by My Phone System. Yes, literally, by My Phone System, ringcentral.com. When we moved in here, I've told you this story many times. I won't repeat it, but we needed a phone system. I didn't want to get it from the phone company. I've had such bad experience with our local phone company, and I thought there should be a kind of more modern solution, and that was Ring Central. Thank you, Russell, for telling me about it. First of all, very affordable. There's no setup fee. I don't have to rent or lease any expensive equipment like a PBX. It's very easy. When we get a new employee, we just basically give them a Ring Central phone. They plug it into the wall, and they're good to go. They're done. We have a very complex phone tree that we can do. We have you can look up our employees by name. I love that. All of those fancy PBX-style features, but because it's digital, it's so easy for us to set up. Our producers love getting their voicemail right there in the email. All the fax messages come to the smartphone. You can even do text messages to and from our business number, our 800 number. Ring Central supports all of that. And they're always adding new features. It's the #1 cloud-based phone system out there They do something called call functioning that I really like. You can program the order of devices that ring when someone calls your number. So I can have it ring the desk phone, and if I don't answer and a certain number rings, and that's programmable too, it then goes to my cell phone. If that doesn't answer, it then goes to my home phone, that kind of thing. RingCentral is, because you're in the cloud, there's really no limit to the kinds of things you can do. RingCentral.com. Check it out. If you visit RingCentral.com, use the promo code TWIT. You can try it free for 30 days, and when you buy one phone, they'll give you a second phone free up to 20 phones. That's a good deal. We've got a special number for you, or you can go to the website. Let me give you the number. It's 800-543-9980. 800-543-9980. Or you can just go to ringcentral.com and use the promo code TWIT. You'll get that 30-day risk-free trial, the all-inclusive pricing starting at $20 per month per user, and, of course, that free phone offer, too. Ringcentral.com. Please use the offer code TWIT, will you? Touchdown Niners! Niners! This is just such a romp. Fumbles it. Niners pick it up. Run it in. Bye-bye. Jeez Louise. Is that Ray McDonald? Who is that? Very nice. 41-10. I feel sorry for the British people who are seeing their first non-rugby football game. They're not seeing a great game. The brutality and intensity of Roman warfare brought to life in vivid detail. That doesn't sound great. Brutally realistic combat. We can use Connect. Oh, no. Only the voice. I don't want this. Battlefield. I might have to get Dead Rising. I don't like zombies. Don't like them. Don't need them. Don't want them. I know Lou Reed died. We said Lou Reed died. We can drop the Lou Reed died thing. He's dead. He's still dead. Thank you. It's like 3/4 of the chat is saying Lou Reed is dead, which we mentioned 2 hours ago. Oh, Chris Marquardt coming up. Here we go. Can you get Chris Marquardt on the line? Is anybody out there? Oh, there he is. In beautiful black and white.
Of course I am.
Hey, Mr. Marquardt.
Hello, Leo. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I am very good. Have you heard about the hype that Nikon is building right now?
No.
Apparently, a revival of the Nikon F3 in digital. So
that's a
I think we're talking
classic film camera.
It's one of the big classics.
I had an FM. I loved my FM.
They're building some hype. There's a mystery announcement about to come, and they have 2 videos out that tease that thing, and people expect it to be a retro, small kind of full-frame DSLR with a mirror and everything, but very small, like an old analog one. So I'm not really sure, but I think we're looking at another interesting full-frame. I don't want to talk about this today, but just something to watch in the next week. It's gonna be hopefully exciting.
Chris Marquardt is here, our photo guy.
Hello.
He leads photographic workshops at discoverthetopfloor.com and does his own podcast about photography, Tips from the Top Floor. Joins us every week to talk digital photography. Have you seen this yet, Chris?
Oh, what is that?
What
is that one of the Sonys?
This is one of the little Sonys that hangs off of your... It's the strangest thing. It's a camera, but you hang it off your smartphone, and then the smartphone gets the image, becomes the viewfinder.
I think it's a really exciting concept, but I have heard mixed things about it.
It uses, I guess, Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
But it's got its
Wi-Fi
own sensor.
or NFC and Bluetooth.
So you're not using the sensor that is built into the camera, but it just kind of hangs off the phone. You put the phone in here, and it hangs off the phone, which is a crazy, crazy idea. Just, I bring this up. First of all, Burke got it for his birthday. Happy birthday, Burke. And he brought it in to show me. But I bring it up because the camera companies are getting very creative, trying to do something different.
You know, they were creative in the early days of digital when cameras all of a sudden didn't have to have that shape that was dictated by how the film rolls in the camera.
Right.
And some of those initial models didn't really fare that well because people wanted their cameras. And then they went back to a phase where cameras started to be normal looking again. And now they're actually going retro again. And there are some interesting retro things from Fuji, and Nikon is apparently going to announce something next week. So we are up for some interesting things that...
I am a fan of these retro cameras, partly because it doesn't look like you've got a big expensive camera hanging around your neck. It looks like you're some kind of old-fashioned guy using an old film camera, and that people are less likely to try to steal it from you. Although I guess crooks are probably smart now, and they probably know, oh no, that's...
Until everyone has one.
Right. Oh yeah, oh that's the OMD. That's a great camera. Let's steal that. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So Chris is also our photographic myth buster.
Yes.
Do you have a myth?
Yes, I do. We're going to bust a digital photography myth. The myth is there are good and bad histograms out there.
First, if you explain what a histogram is.
Exactly.
It sounds like something bad. Something is spray up your nose.
No, it's actually it's not a disease. It's okay.
It's not an inhaler.
You know how you can't really trust your display on the camera. You know, you are out in snow, the pictures look just fine on your camera. You come home and they're all gray, or you shoot in a dark environment, you look on the display and everything looks fine, and then you import those pictures into your computer and it'll go, well, and it's not going to look exactly the way it is. And most of that, well, some of that is the color, but some of that is exposure. If you look at a snow picture at home, very often the camera will just get it gray. So it doesn't look as nice as it did when you were out shooting. There's this one tool on your camera that is absolutely brilliant when it comes to judging the exposure, and that's called a histogram. And what it is pretty much statistics over the brightness of your image. So you have this little diagram on the x-axis. It's from the left to the right. It's from black to white. So it pretty much counts the amount of different brightness pixels in your image. So if you have a picture that has a lot of gray in it, you'll have a kind of a bunched up to the middle little hill there.
So all the way to the left is blacks, all the way to the right is whites, and in the middle is grays.
Exactly.
And you're looking at now there's different histograms. You could also have color histograms, but this is of the overall luminance, the brightness, right?
They're pretty much the same. The luminance one is an average of the color histograms. But what you have to understand is that if you shoot in snow, you would expect that histogram to be all the way to the right. Or at least a bit to the right. But if it comes out in the middle, that means there are a lot of gray pixels in there.
You're going to have gray snow.
Exactly. If you shoot in a coal mine, you're going to expect a left-leaning histogram. If you find the histogram again bunched up in the middle, the camera probably got it wrong because the coal mine is black and not gray. So there is this little tool on your camera that can help you there, and it's called exposure compensation. That's what you want to look for.
This is a really important knob.
It is an important tool on your camera, and the reason and that's the reason why it's so easy to access on most cameras. Look it up in your manual. The Canon DSLRs have this thumb wheel on the back, or the more professional ones have it, and that's usually what the exposure compensation is on. But just don't think there is a good or a bad histogram. There are people who tell you that histogram should always be in the middle, but that is clearly not right. The histogram just indicates what you would expect from the picture. So again, white rabbit in snow is a histogram that's leaning to the right. A coal mine picture will or should have a histogram that leans to the back. And you can look on your display of the camera, and it doesn't matter how bright it is outside or if the display is calibrated or whatever. You will, if the histogram matches what you expect from the picture, you have a well-exposed picture.
Right. And of course, one of the things that's a great advantage of digital photography is you can always look on the back of the picture you took and see, that doesn't look great.
If you have live view on your camera, you can actually have a live histogram. So you could point the camera, you see the preview, and you have this little histogram in the corner. Find out how to switch it on, play with it, and the reason you should care is because good exposure can really make a picture shine. There are so many pictures that are such a beautiful composition, but the exposure is just not right because the camera sometimes gets it wrong.
It's not, the middle isn't always the best.
Not always, not
the
necessarily.
camera's going for the middle because it's dumb. It's just a camera.
The camera is trying really hard to be kind of
even
you know,
tempered. The camera's like CNN. It's trying to be fair and balanced, and that's not always the best way to be. Sometimes you want to go all the way to the left. Sometimes you want to go all the way to the right. So
photography is about the extremes. Sometimes it's not always about this.
It's not fair and balanced. You know, I have a feature. Some cameras have this too, that when you're pointing at a picture, if something is going to be clipped, that is, if there's not going to be any detail in the black or there's not going to be any detail in the white, it will blink at you in the viewfinder, say that's too bright. And that's another useful little tool to see if, you know, what you're going to lose if you take that picture the way you've got it set.
Yeah, pictures of landscapes with beautiful clouds. If you clip those, if you overexpose those, you will. Yeah, it just won't look that nice. You'll lose detail, and if you clip the clouds with RAW, you can recover a bit of that usually. But I typically try to keep the clouds inside, and sometimes I have to reshoot if I get it wrong. I will exposure compensate and then get it in within that range of the histogram.
So we have an assignment. This is just an excuse to get out there and take pictures. Every month or so, we give you an assignment, ask you to take a picture illustrating a word or concept and upload it to Flickr, and then we'll review it. We're still in the middle of our, what is it, our silence?
It's the silence assignment, and we are a silent assignment, and we'll be reviewing that next weekend.
So take a picture next weekend. Okay, so you got one more week to take a picture illustrating the word or concept silent. That could be a lot of different things. And then, by the way, it doesn't have to be with a good camera. It could be with a camera phone. It could be anything. It's not the camera. It's the photographer, right? It's the picture. Upload it to Flickr. That's free, FLICKR.com. Our Tech Guy group, put it there. Make sure you put a tag in the photo that says silent so we know it's a submission for this assignment. And Chris will pick 3, and we'll look at them on the radio, which is crazy. Next week.
It's going to be a tough choice. I'm looking at them right now.
Some good ones already?
A really tough choice.
Oh,
yes,
good. All right. Chris is at discoverthetopfloor.com. He's got workshops there. You'll find his podcast there, all sorts of stuff, and it's always fun to talk to you. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Chris Marquardt. He's also at chrismarquardt.com because that's hard to spell. I just say discoverthetopfloor.com. And his tips from the top floor, really, really good podcast. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. Our website, techguylabs.com. If you go there, you'll find links to websites I've mentioned. Chris's website, for instance. Next week, you'll find the images that we're reviewing on the website, techguylabs.com. We also encourage comments there. If you hear me say something or you've got an addition, for instance, somebody suggested a better video game splitter. Was it XSplit? Put it on the website. Put it in the comments. Always free, always open. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely.
So I didn't know it, but this is the same sensor as Sony has, the 1-inch sensor on the RX100 Mark II. So that's a pretty good sensor. It's not as fast a lens though. It's looks like f3.
You know what I would look? What I use that for? I would use that for street photography because it's so inconspicuous.
Nobody would know. You'd be on your. He's saying great for street photography because nobody'd know.
It's just a tiny little black cylinder.
Oh, this is not the QX100. This is a QX10?
Yes. QX10, yes.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. Yeah, the DSC QX10. Very nice. Very nice. You like it? You have fun with it? It's great. Hey, thanks for bringing it in. Appreciate it. The lovely Burke McQuinn.
Cool. And maybe next week we can talk about something interesting from Nikon. I'm really excited
you think
about.
They'll do that this week, huh?
Well, they want to.
Well, I
announce
canceled my A7R order.
Why did you?
So I could buy a fancy toilet.
Yeah, Japanese one. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Lisa said I could. She gave me permission. For a long time, she said, "I'm not having a toilet that blows water and air at me." And then when we were in Istanbul, we had one and she loved it, and so I said, "All right." So I got a nice little Toto, but it was $1,800. It was like the same price as the camera. So I thought
the original Toto. Okay, yep.
I decided I'm going to wait and see what the reviews are. And you know, it may have been smart because if Nikon does something in response, I mean, I don't need to be the first one to have an A7R.
Oh, you're definitely setting yourself apart from the rest with your new toilet. That's for sure. I envy you for that.
Oh.
All right.
We'll see. Thank you, Chris.
Talk to you next
See you
week.
later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
That's what I got, I think. Spider. How do you like it? Let me see what I got. It was an $1,800 toilet. Oh, I might cancel that too. Actually, I think it's too late. Preparing for shipment. The G500, is that what you have? It does not make a good camera. Oh my goodness gracious. The G500, Toto G500. We're on a septic, so I needed actually to get a low flow. This has dual flow, which is nice. You can get a 0.9 gallons per flush. What?
I just tuned in. You're looking at Toto toilets?
This is our new toilet. If you want to come over to the house.
It is a Toto. Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
And Toto too. Do you know Toto?
Well, there's a big old story about how they wanted to get Dr. Dean to endorse their products at some point.
I'm
He
available.
went to like a Vegas convention
I'm available.
about toilets and water.
Did he not do it?
They ended up not doing it, and I think it's because they did some marketing study and they found that Americans just weren't ready for bidets.
They are
and
now.
Stuff like that.
They are now, baby.
Thank
This
you.
has become
Thank
very,
you.
very popular.
I
This
hope
has the
so.
dual max flushing system.
You know how
Front
we,
and
like,
rear
criticize-
warm water washing with temperature and adjustable pressure controls, remote control operation, illuminated touchpad, 2 user memory, auto open close lid, auto flush,
That's amazing.
automatic air deodorizer, warm air dryer. It's got everything.
Is Dickie D going to talk about this?
I think I'm going to do if I can figure out a way to do it, I'll do a review. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. We get back to the phones. David in Redondo Beach, California. Hi, David.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm great. Listening to the great KFI, I presume.
Yeah, let me get away from the phone.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes. Oh, that's good. No, we love KFI. But we probably shouldn't feed it back into KFI because that wouldn't work. It'd be like Inception.
Thank you. I was listening a couple of weeks ago, and you told the guy about a program to get your iTunes library off your computer onto an Android phone. It was called Double Twist.
Double Twist, yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So I went down that same day, and I loaded the Double Twist app off the Google Play Store. And then, of course, it requires you to load another piece of software onto your main computer.
Right.
Of course, we'll convert the Apple format of the iTunes library. And when I downloaded the compatible piece from the Double Twist website on my computer, everything went fine. I scanned it first with McAfee, and before I saved it on my desktop, scanned it, and installed it. And then I started noticing all kinds of things happening with my Internet Explorer. And especially whenever I went to any website, I was just getting hammered.
Where did you get it? Did you get it from DoubleTwist.com or did you get it from a download site?
I got it from Double Twist, from their actual website. And finally, what I figured out is I went ahead and did a full scan of my system with malware bytes. And what it said was that there was an adware bug in it called pup.optional.opencandy. And, of course, it was not only in the place where I'd saved the file, it had put it in a hidden temporary directory that I found it. And that was from the official Double Twist website.
It said that Double Twist said that it does install that?
It does?
No. I'm asking you.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I mean, I just, I thought I had scan the file correctly, as I do on anything that I download.
Okay, here's why that's not necessarily going to work, because it's not perceived as malware if it's something that you are offered as an optional. They would get sued if they said, "Oh no, we're going to make sure that you don't install this even if you want to because it's malware," right? So let me look. I do see that OpenCandy is part of the installation. Now, you do get a checkbox where you can say, I don't want to install it. They call it the Amazon toolbar. This is unfortunate, and I'm sorry that Double Twist is doing this. But you're seeing it more and more when you install stuff with free software. This is free software that they'll add stuff on your system. They do show you, and this is what keeps it from being malware, by the way. If they snuck it on your system, it's malware. But if they show you in the installer, and this is how companies like, by the way, download.com and downloads.com and others do it, they will give you an option. You can uncheck install the Amazon browser bar. You can uncheck this, and you should. It's my strong, and it won't, by the way, in any way impinge on the installation of Double Twist. They also offer the Delta toolbar, popular free toolbar designed to make browsing and searching the internet faster and easier. Of course, all it does is puts ads up. So you want to make sure that you don't install those when you install it. A lot of times people just go, okay, and install stuff. But my strong advice nowadays, especially if you're downloading freeware software or you're downloading it from a download site, is to be very careful as you go through the installation and make sure you don't check all of that. Now, there is a way to undo this, and they have it on the Double Twist help site. In fact, I'm looking at it right now. So if you do not wish to install them, you can uncheck them. I would suggest uninstalling, and by the way, that's another thing that makes it not malware, that it will add an uninstall to your programs and features control panel. All of those things mean that any program like Malwarebytes or any antivirus will not flag it as virus because it's optional. You opted in. You said, okay, install it.
Malwarebytes actually did find it as a bug.
It found it, but it won't remove it.
Yeah.
Because it's not malware. You installed it. It's useful, helpful, what do they call it? A helpful browser add-on.
Okay.
So,
actually, Malwarebytes did give me the option to deinstall it, which I did. I mean, to delete the files.
That is probably not enough because I would uninstall it using the OpenCandy uninstaller. And if you go to opencandy.com, you can get an uninstaller there. They do everything they can to keep from being malware. Here's my definition of malware. Malware is something that installs without your knowledge or permission and modifies how the computer operates without your knowledge or permission and doesn't make it easy to remove. Then it's malware. Otherwise, it's just adware. You were given the option. So, and it's unfortunate. I'm not saying it's a good thing, and shame on Double Twist for doing it, but this is free software, and they're trying to monetize it, right? They're trying to make some money off of it. I would much prefer they be up front and say, hey, give us $5 instead of trying to sneak this stuff on there. They do, in the installer, show you. So my advice is whenever you install software, especially free software, to go through the process carefully. If it gives you a custom option, always choose it. Always choose custom. Never do the quick install, because that's when you'll see the boxes that let you uninstall. And it's a shame that Double Twist feels the need to do this. So thank you for the heads up. They didn't used to do this. Well, the last time I installed it, did not do it. Now I'm installing on a Mac, so maybe that's one of the reasons. This is a Windows-only application. But we found that many companies do this, and many shareware sites do it now too. That's to me even more reprehensible. If you download something from say downloads.com, it will give you a special downloads installer wrapped around the shareware that will also try to do the same thing, install free and useful toolbars and so forth. But they're all They're all really ways of, putting ads on your system, frankly. I still do use Double Twist, but I might have to look for something else. Chat room, one of the guys in the chat room said, this is why I use iSyncer instead. ISYNCR. Let's find something different. Let's find something better. iSyncer syncs iTunes libraries to Android. It's not free. But, when something's not free and they're making money on it, there's less incentive for them to stick stuff on there. Another choice, an open source choice from Marsworm is Clementine. This was originally Songbird, wasn't it, from the Mozilla organization? But it is, I think it's still open source, and it's pretty cool. Clementine-player.org. Oh, it was based on Amarok, another open source player. Almost all of the music library programs these days will have some form of Android syncing. I mean, that's kind of something everybody needs, right? 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More of your calls still to come. Hour 3 right ahead. I don't diss Christians. I'm just not one. Maybe that, I think some people feel like that's dissing them if you're not one. Clementine is cross-platform. It's all platforms, it says. Oops,
What did you say first, right after the music ended?
Oh, somebody in the chat room saying, is Leo still dissing Christians?
They did.
I don't diss Christians. I'm not one.
Okay, so listen, somebody called me out on Twitter last week.
I think you said, did you say damn or Christ? I don't know. I didn't hear it, but they said, you said some mad word. And I got mad at him. I said, look, I don't believe in religious law. Sharia law, Christian law, I don't believe in it. It's wrong.
The only thing I recall is that you said, if there's a God, strike me down with lightning. And I was like, ha, 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 yeah, And
that was intemperate. I probably shouldn't have said that, but
whatever.
It makes me mad because people come in and think that I should adhere to some religious law that they have. That's fine if you want to adhere to your religious law, or if you find it offensive, don't listen. That's fine too. And by the way, and I'm thinking of putting a disclaimer up on the live stuff because it's only on the live stuff. The podcasts are always family friendly. We adhere
Cleaned
to
up.
Yeah. It's only on the live stuff. But there's somebody who's been trolling me. This guy was a troll, and that's why I got upset.
Oh,
He was trolling me initially, and then now he's going to come back every show and troll me, and we just boot him out of there. It's okay.
Oh, okay. And boo-hoo and cry and everything. Yeah, no, so, but the saying was so great because it was like, I see that you have joined the dark choir of people denigrating Christians.
I'm not. Be a Christian by all means. I'm just not one.
Right. Knock yourself out. Why are you attacking me all of a sudden? It's that typical tolerance that we see from a few
when we were in
type of
Turkey,
people.
All the women that we talked to in Turkey were so nervous because there was a move by the government to move towards Sharia law. Turkey is primarily Muslim, but it is a secular state ever since Ataturk. He was very adamant, just as the U.S. is, to separate church and state. But they're moving towards towards a Sharia law, which, if you're a woman, is not a good thing. And I really don't like it when any religion tries to say this is how you should be. So when somebody comes into my chat room saying you shouldn't do something because my religion says it's wrong, that set me off. But it was intemperate. I shouldn't have said that. I mean, but fortunately, God did not strike me down. Thank you, God, for understanding that I was just
He is
upset.
a mean God.
Not necessarily. He can be nice. He can be nice.
In some of the books, he's kind of like, I'll smite
Just
thee.
depends. There's the Old Testament. There's the New Testament. Anyway, this is a no-win conversation.
Something else to talk about?
Well,
yes.
This was a caller about a couple months ago.
Yes.
And she talked about this contest that has got one month. So on the second page, there's info about it. National Center for Women and Information Technology.
Cool.
So they're looking for aspiring women in technology.
In high school, grades 9 through 12, they could win the NCWIT Award for Aspirations in Computing. And this is aspirations.org.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aspirations.org. Yeah, it's like, yeah, don't use bad word. But what is a bad word? I try not to. We do, I have to say, on our podcast, and John is the keeper of this flame, we do try to keep it family-friendly broadcast standard. But I think what we need to start doing is putting a disclaimer up saying, if you're watching live, you may see fleeting expletives or irreligious or comments that offend your religion or whatever. But if that bothers you, then please don't watch live. Listen to the podcast because those are kept broadcast standards.
That's the fun of peeking behind the curtain,
right?
And seeing the live show.
Sometimes people swear or say things you don't agree with, and I apologize for that. But it's not. It's kind of hard to keep people from doing that.
Anyway, I'm a member of the Dark Choir, but I was telling my folks this.
Dark
I was like,
Choir.
Hey, some of my best friends are Christians.
Dark Choir.
Christians love me. Or they used
My
to.
girlfriend's a Christian. That's not, I mean, I don't hate Christians by any means. I just don't.
No,
I just don't.
Live and let live.
I happen to have my beliefs. You don't have to have my beliefs by any means.
But it's funny what you were saying because I feel like people with what I'm learning is our belief think that we try to put it on other people, and I absolutely don't. I never talk about it. I just don't.
I don't either.
I don't
because it's not a.
It's
not
not
a
a part of
popular.
me.
It's also not a popular topic.
Well, that too, I guess. I know.
I think that if people are true Christians, I totally admire that. I mean, Christ was an amazing person. The problem is there's a lot of Christians who claim Christ as their savior, but don't act that way.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, my Nana is she's the closest to Jesus person I've ever met and will meet.
Yeah.
She follows his teachings.
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
To the letter.
Yeah. Yeah. Not crazy about money changers in the temples either, and that's okay. But it was very intemperate of me to say that. May God strike me down. That was wrong, and I lost my temper and I apologize. It was very intemperate.
I thought you did it to make Lizzie squeal because she did. She's like, "Don't do that when I'm sitting so close to you." It was very third grade.
So Taxi Cab is wondering why, because we aren't required to adhere to broadcast standards, why we do, and it's not. I have a mixed feeling about that. One of the reasons is because when podcasting started, a lot of podcasters said, "Whoa," and then went kind of crazy. And certainly, there's no need to do. It's easy to, if you're just covering tech, to be family friendly. And I wanted parents to feel like their kids could watch, because I feel like what we're doing is important for kids. So I wanted to make sure that we didn't have an explicit tag on iTunes, that we were not explicit, that we were broadcast standards. But I do kind of feel like I can't really insist on that of the hosts off the air. When they're just sitting on camera. So. Oh, Niners won. Jaguars got defanged. It's good. Niners have kind of come back from a little bit of a rocky start. I am reading a great book about Scientology that is just kind of like, OMG. It's like worse than I thought. Oh my God. Yeah, we do Inside Twit Capo, not as much as we used to. We don't do it every week because Lisa's very busy, but every time we have something important, we do. Yeah, the iPad Today pre-show is maybe the wildest show we do. I like to flirt with Sarah. I'm reading Janet Reitman's Inside Scientology, which is on Audible, or listening to it. It's quite good. Quite good. Surprising. Janet Reitman, R-E-I-T. Here, I'll show you. Well, a good day to you. Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, no. GPS, no. 8-track tapes, no. We'll talk about the current technology, and sometimes we, you know what, every once in a while we talk about zip drives and stuff that's no longer current. Phone number 8888-ASK-LEO, 888-827-5536. If you've got a question, a comment, a suggestion, I would love to hear from you. The website, techguylabs.com. You can join our chat room. Always fun. There's a link there in the website. And, of course, James DeRuvo and Josh Windish are working hard to make sure that website has everything I mentioned, all the websites, links to everything, questions and answers, our, pick of the week, things like that. techguylabs.com. So Windows 8.1 came out. Everybody downloaded it. If you haven't yet, I do recommend it. I think it's some nice improvements, and it's free for Windows 8. If you're using Windows 7, do not download Windows 8.1. Stick with Windows 7. But if you've upgraded to 8, you've got a new machine. I think 8.1 makes some nice improvements. Microsoft released this week its Surface 2. Two versions of that. They've dropped the Windows RT name just to make it even more confusing. There was a time when you kind of knew what you were getting. It was Metro, right? Was that tiled interface was called Metro. And there were 3 different versions of Windows. There was Windows Phone. There was Windows RT, designed for tablets, ARM processors. And there was Windows 8 Professional, or Windows 8, designed for Intel processors. And the thing that's really important to understand, and it's still true even though they've kind of changed the naming, they dropped Metro, they've dropped RT, so now it's all Windows. But the thing that's really important to remember is programs designed for one won't run on the other. So your don't expect your Windows 7's programs to run on Windows RT. They won't. You have to have Windows 8 Pro for that. Windows Phone software is not going to run on that. Developers can make versions that run on all 3, but unless they specifically say it's for your version of Windows, be careful. Now, I believe, and a number of experts believe, that the future for Microsoft is not Windows Pro, but in fact Windows RT, this thing without a name. Because this tablet interface, Microsoft's all in on tablets. They don't call it Metro anymore. They call it the modern UI. That should tell you something. What's the opposite of modern? Old-fashioned. What's old-fashioned? Windows 7, Windows Desktop. Microsoft says the future is modern. So I've decided now there are only 2 companies at this point still making Windows RT because it was such a flop. In fact, Microsoft took a $900 million write-down for all those Surface RT tablets that they made. That didn't stop them. You could lose almost $1 billion. It wasn't $1 billion. It was almost $1 billion. So Microsoft and Nokia, the last 2 companies still making these, I don't know what to call them, Surface RT. I have to use the word RT, or Windows RT. I have to use the word so you understand what I'm talking about, even though we're not supposed to. Microsoft's Surface 2, that's what they call it, just Surface 2, just came out. Looks pretty nice, some nice improvements, but I'm holding out. I think Nokia also announced this week, in a stunning example of poor scheduling, they had an event in Abu Dhabi the same day Apple had its event. So you would have to get up at like 3 in the morning in the U.S. to see this event. But so they didn't get as much coverage as they probably deserve. But they announced a new Windows tablet. Their first, the Nokia Lumia 2520, that looks pretty nice. It has that same styling as the Windows phone, the Lumia Windows phone. It's kind of elegant. 10.1-inch display, 1080p, much like the Surface 2. I've played with the Surface 2. One of our engineers here is a big Windows fan. He had the Surface 2, and it's nice. It's nice. I doubt it'll be a big seller because the Surface 1 didn't sell very well. But I'm very intrigued by the Lumia 2520. For one thing, the tablet gets 11 hours battery life, according to Nokia, but they also have a keyboard, an attachable keyboard, much like Microsoft, that adds an additional 5 hours. 16 hours battery life. I like that. Comes with Office, comes with desktop. It's going to be interesting. So I probably won't get the Surface. I'll wait for the the 2520 to come out. 8888 Ask Leo. We could talk about that. Anything that's on your mind, I'd love to talk to you. Let's get to the phones. David in Northridge, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, Leo. My TV's, I'm about ready for a new television, and I've been looking at the 4K, but also the 1080p's that are kind of comparable in size. You know, they have nice photos, pictures, but...
The problem with 4K, which is the new, they call it UHD, is that the TV manufacturers are pushing it because they're all going out of business. They're going bankrupt because nobody's buying new TVs, so they got to come up with something that you want. They thought 3D might do it, didn't. So now they're pushing 4K. I like 4K. I am a super fan of 4K, but there's no 4K content, and there's no currently easy way to get it. It doesn't fit on a Blu-ray disc. You can't really stream it. There's not enough bandwidth. Sony sells a 4K display that comes with a special hard drive-based player that has some movies on it, and then more will be downloaded slowly over time. I wouldn't worry about 4K today.
Okay, because you can get a really nice TV the same size for 1/4 of the price, you know?
In 4K?
No.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing. So you'll buy a 4K TV, and there's nothing to watch. Get an HD TV. Get a 1080p TV.
Okay, because you can get a nice 70-inch Sony for like $2,300 at Costco.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get the UHD.
Okay, you just made my wife very happy.
Yeah, you won't, because you won't, there's nothing to watch. No broadcast, there's no discs, there's nothing to watch. So you wouldn't even see it. It's gonna come, but it's not in the next few. It'll be 3 years off at least.
Well, what about when they say that they can upscale your 1080p content?
Yeah, no, that doesn't look any better.
Okay.
They can do it. It doesn't look any better. I've seen it. I've seen it all. I think you're better off getting a good quality HD TV, a 1080p TV, and you'll love it. Is it your first?
Oh no, I've got an old Panasonic. An old Samsung for the 720.
Okay. Yeah, 1080p is much better than 720. Now, the issue on 1080p is Netflix isn't doing it really well. They kind of are if you have the right hardware. A lot of stuff is still 720, even things like on broadcast television, like ESPN. But if you look carefully, you can find 1080p content. Certainly, Blu-ray is. You want a Blu-ray player with it. And you may want to subscribe to Vudu, which offers an HDX format, streaming format that's 1080p. If you have enough bandwidth, it looks quite good. Quite good.
Good.
All right?
All right, well, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Thanks, bye.
Always fun to get a new TV. Carl, Riverside, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, it could be better. I got one of those computer viruses you were talking about.
Oh, no. Which one?
You spelled it out to the T where it tells you to pay $300 and go to whatever, 7-Eleven. And
But does it say that it's the FBI, the Department of Justice, or what does it say?
Oh, yeah. It's got...
that one is not as bad as the CryptoLocker that we've been talking about. That one can be removed.
All right.
The problem with this new one, CryptoLocker, is you can't remove it. Once it gets you, it's scrambled your files. This one is keeping you from booting into it, but in fact, you can get into it. It's ransomware. Do you have another computer?
No.
Okay. So that means you're probably going to have to go to the shop. Find a good computer guy, and they can remove this money. This is asking for money pack. I should have probably been more clear when we had Steve Gibson on talking about this CryptoLocker, that this is a new variant of an old form of virus. The old form was easily removable. We'll put a link in the show notes. There's a good NeoWin article Zendrum's telling me about in the chat room that tells you how you can remove it, get access to your stuff. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, you should format and reinstall. Of course you should. Of course you should. What did you get, Dutch Thomas? Did you get something for sending us a lovely video on the GizWiz? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. How did you get that? What was in there? We wrapped it in the Argus Courier? That's funny. I guess they're hoping I'll show that code on the air, maybe? Can't understand why people so I get this all the time. People figured out my email address, and so they try to crack my various accounts by All of them have second factor authentication on them, so I get texts from time to time, as I just did, saying your authentication code is this. But of course, if you don't have my phone, I don't know what good that's going to be, unless they're hoping I will accidentally. That's probably what it is. I'll be showing my phone, and they'll see it. I have to be careful. You have to be careful. CryptoLocker does not affect Macs at this point. Or, in fact, highly unlikely it ever will. An RTMP stream, I don't know. It is. Windows 8 makes it actually very easy. Windows 8 has built in a recovery process that will wipe the drive and start over. Now, of course, it gets that from the hidden Windows 8 partition, and if that's infected, it's, you know, but right now it works. Yeah, generally means that they've got they're trying to reset the password, right? I have no experience with the SSDs failing at all. None of my SSDs have ever failed, and I've been using them for years quite reliably. Oh, so that was you, Dutch Thomas. Oh, cool. So she sent you a copy of it. That's great. .1080i is, well, yeah, I love the new Microsoft commercial. I love it. Hop into my TARDIS. Let's go for a ride. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. So the good news is Carl did not have CryptoLocker. How do you know the difference? Well, it's kind of hard. Right now, you can go and look and see what the screens look like for CryptoLocker, but those will change. The real difference is CryptoLocker encrypts your files using strong encryption, and it will say, give us the money, we'll give you the code to unlock it. The earlier versions of ransomware made it impossible to get past the ransomware screen. You couldn't reboot. It would just start up again. And it would say, this is the FBI, the Department of Justice, Interpol, some law enforcement agency. We've caught you doing bad stuff. Give us $300 and we'll pretend it never happened, which is goofy. But because people think they're trapped behind the screen, they often do. It's very effective. But it's really not a real way of holding you for ransom because there are ways around it. CryptoLocker, no way around it. That's why it's scary. The way around it? Well, of course, don't get it in the first place, which means be very careful about opening attachments. I've told you this so many times. Do not open email attachments. CryptoLocker, for the most part, seems to come as an email attachment. Be very careful about clicking links in email. Keep your software up to date. That's very important. Not only Windows. Microsoft periodically, usually the second Tuesday of the month, offers security updates for Windows, and you should install them the minute they're available. But you should also make sure you keep up to date any software that goes on the internet. That means your browsers, for sure, and any browser plugins that you use, Flash, Java, Adobe Reader. All of them are serious security issues and have had some serious ones in the past. So you got to keep those up to date because these companies are regularly updating them to as soon as they find these problems to fix it. In this case, at least so far, CryptoLocker has come as an executable file. Now, in general, it is the case. The only way a bad guy can get your computer is by getting you to run a program or by tricking the operating system or some other program into running a program. They have to run a program to infect your system. CryptoLocker does it in the most primitive way by sending you an email that makes you go, oh. One common way is to send you an email with an attached file that purports to be from a bank saying, we have a wire transfer in your name. Please open this file and sign it and send it back. It could be other things. You know, they'll use all sorts of tricks. I've got pictures of you last night. They're here. They'll look like a zip file. You'll open them up. They're not a zip file. Or inside there's an exe, or they may be an exe themselves. But they trick you into running that program because you don't pay attention. So do not open email attachments. It's dangerous. Steve Gibson said, and I think this is true that last hour when he was talking about this, if you didn't expect it, don't open it. If you didn't specifically ask for it, don't open it. But it's so hard because people jump, and you know, they can get us when our guard is down. And it's a shame we have to keep our guard up. So keep your software up to date. Keep your guard up. Be suspicious of stuff you receive over the internet. And you know, of course, having an antivirus is valuable, but it's not the last. It's not the, you know, it's not going to prevent it in many cases. You are the last line of defense. And finally, have a good backup, because if you do get bit by this, that's the only solution, is to restore from backup. 8888 ask Leo. That's the number. We got Nick in Northridge, California. Hi, Nick. Leo Laporte.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Oh, okay. My question was, what was your take on these little nano routers? Like there's like a TP nano router, and what you thought about them?
I am not familiar with them, so let me take a look here. What makes it nano? It's so small.
Yeah, it's small. It's like this one that I've been looking at lately is a TP-Link WR702N and 150 nano router.
It's cheap too. It's $20.
Yeah, they're very cheap. You see, what I have a home lab with a bunch of Cisco equipment, and I don't want to make another 30-foot cable going across my living room. My wife would kill me.
Yeah, these are travel routers basically, and there's no reason a router has to be big. It's just a little computer. If you can get a Raspberry Pi into an Altoids tin, there's no reason you can't get a router that small. So
right now, what caught my eye though is that, you know, they have client repeater bridge mode, and they have a bunch of other things that I thought about, and it seems pretty nice also if I went to like the library for whatever reason. But I was curious on what your take was and if you ever used them.
I'm looking at the review on PC Magazine. I have used similar products. I haven't used this TP-Link. No reason to dislike them. They're just like a router is pretty much a router, you know? I mean, the size of it doesn't change its functionality. Right. This one, PC Magazine said, is very good. So I would say go ahead and get it. But I have a question. It sounds like you want to use it to extend your existing router. Is that the case?
No, well, I mean, I like the portability with it. Like if I went to somewhere else.
Well, it's great. It's great for this. For, you know, let's say you go to a hotel. Now, unfortunately, hotels increasingly don't offer hardwired internet. It's almost always Wi-Fi nowadays. But if they still offer hardwired internet, this is a great choice. You plug it into that, and it's a firewall. You're protecting yourself. I used to do that with an Airport Express. Similar idea. Small router I used to carry around with me. Do the same thing. But it works less and less because hotels less and less offer hardwired internet. If you want to use it to extend your existing internet, it may or may not work. Generally, my advice, if you're extending an existing wireless network, is to get hardware from the same manufacturer. So you could try, you know, if you can return it, Sears has it. You could probably return it there. Then I would say try it and see if it works. But the problem with this extending Wi-Fi, it uses a system called WDS, Wireless Distribution System, it's kind of loosely, the spec is kind of loose, and so there's some differences in implementation. So different chipsets do it differently, different manufacturers do it differently. So generally for best results, if you're going to extend a Wi-Fi network, you'd get a repeater or an extender from the same company, D-Link, Netgear, whoever you bought the original from. However, looking at the review at PC Magazine, this is a good choice for a router. The problem with nano routers, perhaps overheating, because of course there's a lot of circuitry in a small space. But you know, in effect, Apple offered nano routers years ago when it offered the Airport Express. Small routers are very convenient, very useful, great for travel. Nothing wrong with it. TP-Link, the wireless N nano router, manufacturer suggested retail price $20. I love that. That is a nice price. I haven't tried this particular one, but I will. I'll get one, let you know. Serge, he's in Canada. I'm not sure, where are you? Kelowna.
Kelowna.
I missed the K. There it is, Kelowna. Hi, how you doing, Serge?
Pretty good.
I took your advice before, and about finding what was going wrong with my phone. It turns out there's actually a photo that was causing it to draw all the power to try and figure out what the photo was.
So your phone battery was dying rapidly?
Because of a photo that I had taken that
is bizarre. Wow.
Anyways, my question...
Hang on. I'm going to take your question right after we come back. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So you can DDWRT it. That makes it more interesting. Now I'm really interested. That's a different model than he was talking about, but this is how to use it as a Wi-Fi pineapple. Yeah. This is a very limited usefulness. Absolutely, Howard. You should not click links in the chat room. The thing about, here's the deal on this. Because we're using IRC chat, they can't obfuscate the link unless they use Bitly. So when you see, for instance, how to build your own PC, youtube.com, that's a YouTube link. That's safe. If you see a shortened link, an obfuscated link, then do not click it. If you see a bit.ly link and you don't know who put it up there, that could be malware. Absolutely. Now, our mod, having said that, our mods are very careful and you know, I think it's very safe in here. The real problem is that if people are using HTML email, you can make a link look like it says youtube.com even though it isn't. You know, the text for the link can be different than the actual link. That can't happen in here. If you can read that link, that's where you're going. And of course, the mods do a very good job. But you know, I want them to be safe too. So, God, the Niners are already heading for the airplane. No time wasted. You can get rickrolled. Text-based is great, and that's why I don't like HTML email. It obfuscates what you're looking at. HTML email is dangerous. Very dangerous. For a lot of reasons. I don't have any problems clicking links in the chat room. I've never worried about that. But that would be the rule of thumb. If you can see the link and read it and know it's going to a known site, then you're fine. Well, what you can do, you can't prevent people from sending you HTML email, but you should always not load the images, which you can do in Gmail. That would help you. And then if you got to be careful about clicking links in the browser. That's right. You always should be careful about clicking links in a browser if you're an email. I thought Nick was going to be on too. Isn't it Bilton, Baratunde, and Dvorak? Oh, we didn't get Nick? Oh, all right. Maybe he bailed on us. Yeah, alcohol gadgets are fine. I did a shot glass roulette wheel. No, we're going to have the air ducts cleaned tomorrow, Theater Monkey. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. We were talking to Serge in Kelowna, British Columbia. And you said you had a question about cameras, is that right?
Yes, I'm thinking about getting my first mirrorless camera. I only have a point and shoot right now.
Oh, you're going to love it. It's the future, my friends.
Well, my question is, there's a very tempting on Amazon, NX210 for $300 as opposed to $700 for the newer version. So I'm wondering what your opinion is on the NX210.
Never used it, but of course, Samsung does make good cameras. That's a good price. It's an awfully good price. I would look at the reviews of places like dpreview.com and see what they say.
I looked at DP Review, and it gives it good reviews. The site's just so busy, so much in detail, I have trouble using it.
Yeah, it gives you an awful lot of detail. So just go to the end where it says conclusion. the last page. They say good image quality, very high resolution, well-designed, intuitive user interface, all-metal body, good build, 8 frames per second continuous shooting. That's very good. It does say raw shots are slow. Aggressive noise reduction, which I'm going to apply right now. I'm hearing traffic go by. Starts blurring detail lower. Yeah, you know, I mean, this all sounds good. I shoot mirrorless as well. I like mirrorless cameras a lot. But the ones I use are much more expensive. So if price is an object, and I have to say, at $300, you're talking about a price that is close to what a cheap compact point and shoot. So I'd say go for it. Sounds like a good choice. That's the Samsung. It's the older Samsung point and mirrorless. They have a newer model. The 300 is out. But I think that based on that review, that sounds like a good place to start. I use the Olympus OMD EM5, and I'm very happy with it. Mirrorless, the whole idea of mirrorless is you get a removable lens, you know, a interchangeable lens camera like a DSLR. But instead of using a mirror to look through the viewfinder and see what's coming into the lens, and that's how all SLRs have worked since time immemorial. These things use just a video camera, so they don't need a mirror. They get rid of the mirror. There's no big chunk. There's nothing to move out of the way. The body can be much, much smaller as a result. If you've never used an SLR, you're not going to be unhappy about it. People who are unhappy are people who've used SLRs and they miss the high-quality optics of the viewfinder, because the mirror gives you a really good, crisp view of live view of what's going out there. Video camera, a little lower resolution, maybe a little bit of a lag. It's not quite as good. You're still seeing what the lens is going to see, though. That's the main thing. My personal preference is a much more expensive, like $1,200 Olympus OMD. I like it a lot. Somebody in the chat room, computer in the chat room, is saying the EPL5, one of the newest pen camera from Olympus, he says is quite good too. But nothing's that cheap. Nothing's $300. That's a good price. Get it. Go for it. You know what? At that price, you can use it for a year or two. And then if you want more and better, you just move up. John is in Alhambra, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, John. Hello, John. Hello, Alhambra. Or Alhambra. Hello. Let's try that again. Hi, John.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. I didn't press the right button.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
So your carbonite backup, is that, if I got that BitLocker, is that the name of that virus, that new one?
Yeah. Are you using Windows?
Yes, Windows 7.
Yeah, Carbonite does what's called versioning on Windows. That means it backs up not just the current version, but keeps previous versions, and that would protect you against BitLocker. Because even if BitLocker bit you and Carbonite kept running, and in most cases you're going to know it bit you and you're not going to be using Carbonite. But let's say it did bite you and you didn't notice, and Carbonite backed up the encrypted files, you could still go back to the previous unencrypted version.
Okay. So, and then if
CryptoLocker. Did I say BitLocker? CryptoLocker. That's right.
I said BitLocker. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So if I contracted that on my computer,
Carbonite would be a suitable way to protect yourself, last line of defense, because you'd be able to get your data back.
Would I have to wipe the hard drive, and would I be able to get back online to Carbonite, or how would that work?
Actually, you wouldn't. Although I would suggest it, but you wouldn't. If your antivirus had quarantined or removed the virus, you would just delete your data and restore from Carbonite.
Okay. Okay. So, but I'd have to restore the operating system before I did that? Or?
Nope.
No?
Nope. All it does is CryptoLocker encrypts your data.
Only. Okay.
It leaves your operating system intact.
Okay,
now,
got it.
having said that, of course, anytime any bad guy gets something on your system, you can never really be sure that you're not in some way compromised unless you erase completely and reinstall Windows from a known good source. That's the prudent thing to do. And it's certainly what I would do, but if that's, not in, too much trouble or for whatever reason, the way that we've seen CryptoLocker currently, the way it works currently, Once you get rid of it, and it's not so hard to get rid of, you can replace the encrypted data with good data, and you should be okay. Be careful. Now, I know you don't have it, so this is kind of a hypothetical question. But the one thing you'd want to be careful about is that you probably got it in an email attachment. You don't want to read that email again and go, oh, wow, and open it up again. You could reinfect yourself. There's only so many times it's going to work. Michael in Lancaster, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, Michael. Michael! I'm having trouble. Is it me? Oh, wait a minute. That's because I'm pressing the wrong button. Michael, you're next. It's Karen in Norco. I'm sorry. Hi, Karen. It is me. Problem exists. You know what they call it in the computer service guys call it PEBCAC. Problem exists between keyboard and computer. In other words, user. User error. What can I do for you, Karen?
Well, you know what? While I was on hold, I was trying to say, okay, you need to be calm when you get to talk to Leo. But I am so excited to talk with you.
Why?
Well, you know, I talked to you about 5 years ago, and you said, "Oh my gosh, get your son a laptop." Anyway, he's now a grad student, and we just bought him a MacBook Pro.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it was good advice, huh?
Yeah, it was good advice. Well taken. It's done him well.
Oh, I'm so proud of him. That's great.
Yeah. We I have a few blogs through Google Blogger, and again, while I was listening on hold, you're talking about the future of cameras and the future of Microsoft operating system. What do you think the future of Google Blogger is? You know, we don't pay anything.
I know.
People offers this service. Now, I have gone ahead and got domain names.
So that's going to protect you. So here's the deal with Blogspot, the Google Blog solution.
Right.
Or Blogger. You're right. Google has a history of pulling products. If you use Google Reader, you know. If you use iGoogle, you're about to be sunsetted. So there's no guarantee Google's not going to at some point go, yeah, nobody uses this, which is not true. But you can't. They're a company. They can do that. But Google has this great, I think, great policy. They call it the data liberation front, that you can always get your data out. So if you own your domain name, which you do, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you know that you can always get your data from Blogger, you're good, because if Google decides they'll give you a fair warning. If they decide to shut it down, you just get a new place, move your data over. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I am a huge Lou Reed fan, and I have all of his records, all of his songs, from all of his different incarnations.
Whoa.
Oh, John McPhee's got cancer. That's sad. Good afternoon, Effendon.
Hey, you probably don't have any use for this, but I have Dr. Dean's old, it's a big piece of equipment that we use to put a radio show on the air. It's the Telos.
Oh.
So it lets all the lines come in.
He gave you his Zephyr?
Speak to, yes, that.
You have a Zephyr?
Yeah, and you know, I'm sitting there, it's been sitting on my desk.
I'll take it. I'll buy it from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I keep going into radio stations to do work instead of from home any longer, and I'm like,
so
you know what?
used to have an ISDN line?
Oh, yeah. We had everything at the house.
You did it. What, Dr. Dean came over to your house? Did you live with Dr. Dean?
We used to live together. Didn't you know that?
No.
I'm kidding.
Oh. No, but this is good. Keep going.
Trevor
you do the
made
show
me move
naked?
to L.A.
Oh, okay.
Everybody was naked, yes. And I was able to move back to San Francisco. I was going to do it out of Clear Channel on Townsend Street. And Trevor said, no, why don't you do it from home?
Awesome.
And Bill Hickey built me the Zephyr box and everything. And we had a little bit of latency, but we worked through it.
No, I want a Zephyr because I want to put it in my house and get an ISDN line in my house so that if I had some communicable disease or leprosy, I could sit in my house and do the show. Or do the freaking Bill Hannell show, which he makes me come in here. And
really? Yeah. Or just do the show in women's underwear, which I know.
Well, I am wearing women's underwear right now. You knew that, right?
Okay.
I just find it more comfortable. It's silky, it's smooth, it's satiny. As a woman, I'll say that I do like the way it feels against You don't
my
wear
skin.
men's underwear if you had the choice. No.
Wow. I have some cute little boxers and stuff like that, but that's just a whatever.
It's just a thing. It's a thing I do when I'm wearing men's shirts.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, this is perfect. We'll talk. Oh my God, I thought I'll put it out to you, and then.
Well, tell me what model it is. But if it's I will buy it from you if it's a recent model or a model I can use. It's probably an. Just, John,
old.
did you ever figure out if we have a third Zephyr in the basement?
Not here, but yes, we do.
We do have a third Zephyr. Oh well, maybe I don't need it then.
It's a little iffy though.
It's iffy. It's like not. It's not working.
It's in the basement for a reason.
How much would you want for your Zephyr?
Well, let's talk. Dr. Dean said, "Here, take this. It's worth $10,000." I'd be.
It was when they bought it.
Okay, listen to him already wheeling and dealing.
Well, my Zephyr, the analog Zephyr we used was $7,000 new in 2004. That's why I want to know what model it is.
I feel like this might be a little older because this is when he first left KGO.
If it does the codecs I need to do, it'd be fine. All I need to do is GDOT.
So I just need to take a lot of pictures of it and show it to you?
Take a picture of the face of it, yeah. Or you can look on it and see what the model number. That's all I need is the model number.
Yeah. It has buttons and dials.
Well, but I mean, the digital ones don't have dials.
I'm sure it's not digital, I guarantee you. It's too old to be digital. They didn't have digital back then. They
Unless
barely
you have
had
an
radio
updated
back
one.
then. Was it square? Did it look like does it look like
It's
perhaps
got the
it looks like
that goes on either
this? Or
oh, maybe one part of it looks like that.
it's bigger.
Huge
It looks like
thing.
this. This is the Extreme. It's an analog. Well, come over here and look at my Zephyr. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, waning moments of the Tech Guy Show for this week. Let's take as many calls as we can. So we were talking to Karen in Norco. I just want to reassure you, Karen, that if Google decided to shut down Blogger, and there's no evidence it's going to, it's a big part of the Google operation, you would have plenty of time to move your data out of there. And since you own your domain name, and this is very important, everybody who has a website they care about should have a dedicated domain name, not karensblog.blogspot.com, but karensblog.com. And that way, you could just change, you can move, you can change addresses at any time.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if you thought that it was, I mean, I know Google is a huge company, but I just wondered I do things for the iPhones and Android and don't laugh now, but BlackBerry, little wallpapers and stuff like that.
Hey, what's the website?
It is the easiest one. Well, iBaby Girl, like as an iPhone, iBaby Girl, and there's a Droid Baby Girl and a Baby Berry Girl.
Is it ibabygirl.com?
Yes, ibabygirl.com.
See, you own that, so that's good. That protects you. Now, it can redirect right now, as it does, to a...
It does, and I left it that way because some of the little blogging community...
Why not? You have a beautiful site. It's free. You pay nothing for it. Why not? I mean, this is great. Continue to use this site until such time as Google kicks you out.
And I've backed all my stuff. I have everything. I keep up the files on each time I, make a post or, whatever. And
well, what's nice too is you don't have to pay bandwidth on the images or anything like that. I mean,
no,
this is great. I mean, you're getting it all for free. I think this is wonderful.
Yeah.
How come you have a Tim Hortons? How come you have a Tim Hortons? Are you Canadian?
The Tim Hortons. Well, as I wrote in, if you have time, sometime you can read the little about me. Is what the cool thing about all our cell phones and the cell phone technology. It has united so many people from.
I agree.
All over.
I agree.
And the Tim Horton happens to be from someone I've gotten in contact in Canada.
That's great.
And
that's great. So here's the deal. The only risk to you, and there is a slight risk. Somebody in the chat room said, I used to have a Blogger spot and they killed my site without warning because they said I had a virus on it. So it would be prudent of you to regularly which I hope you're doing this anyway, regularly back up your site. And and that way, if anything happened, you would just redirect ibabygirl.com to wordpress.com or somewhere else.
Well, WordPress was the one, and I didn't really realize. I had people telling me all the time because I'd give away these wallpapers and the little weather systems that for Android and that work on that B-Weather program. And I was encouraged to, well, you should post these up somewhere to, where we can get them. And then I was absolutely horrified. I was going to have to write something. I thought I was just going to just post up pictures. And I thought, oh, my gosh, on a blog, hello, I think you're supposed to write something. And I thought, oh, my goodness, I was like, I was horrified over that thought.
No. And there's other places, squarespace.com. There's lots. If you have the content, you're good. You're golden. You're safe. But I would stay here for now because you've done a lot of work. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I love it. And I love your Halloween decor. Are you? You must be you're an artist. You're a graphic artist.
Oh no.
No.
I played a little bit and learned along the way.
Well, you're pretty good.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun. It's one of those things you do between 1 and 3 a.m. when you're supposed to be sleeping.
It's nice to have something to do in the middle of the night. I agree.
Well, yeah. Why should you sleep?
Thank you, Karen. Well, no, fear not. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. I don't think there's any evidence that Google will kill a blogger. There wasn't, I guess, before they killed Reader either. But one thing they do, they give you lots of warning. You have months. The iGoogle is still there. They give you months to change and move on. Michael, Lancaster, California. Hi, Michael. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. I hope you can help me to finally erase about 20 messages from my Android voicemail. I'm trying to back up my voicemail to my PC. These are messages that I would like to keep because they are either special to me or comical or funny from friends that have left me voice messages, and I'd like to save them to my PC. And I've tried doing like a 3.5, mail to my input sound jack on my PC and using sound recorder. But man, I tell you, the quality is like really terrible. It's like it's nothing like when I'm listening to it on the earpiece on my phone.
So there are Android apps for doing this, but there. Tell me a little bit. Who's your carrier?
Verizon.
Okay, and
I believe me, I've been doing this for about 2 years. I'm getting so tired of saving my messages over and over again every month.
Yeah.
And I went to Verizon, and they said, "Oh, just go ahead and get the special $1 a month Verizon voicemail."
Yeah, you can do that.
But it's the same thing. I've got to use the 3.5 jack to jack.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, that's the MacGyver solution, right?
I think so.
There are services that offer similar ways to get your like SaveMyVM.com.
SaveMyVM.com.
Yeah, there's several services that do this. Voicemailsforever.com. These are sites. Now they're not free. You'll have to pay them. Although sometimes you can get the first few messages for free. The other way in future to do this is to use Google Voice instead of your Verizon voicemail, because you can always save it from Google. In fact, Google Voice will email you the audio if you want. Now, that's too late. It's too late for stuff you already have, but for future reference.
Yeah, I have. So you would have to direct your voicemails.
Yeah, I don't use Verizon's voicemail. I have Google Voice take the calls. And the reason is, and then I give out a Google Voice number instead of my cell number, partly because I'm always changing cell phones, right? I change my numbers. Right. So with one Google Voice number that never, it's kind of like what I've been talking about with the email, where you have your own email address and then you just forward it. Google Voice is free and for future reference has a lot of nice features, including a single number that you can give out, and it will ring whatever phones you say. You can ring all of your phones, your home phone, your office phone, your cell phone. I carry several. I often have different cell phones, so I can have all my cell phones ring. It's quite a cacophony when somebody calls me, I might add. But among other things, you can replace your standard carrier voicemail with Google Voice. And I like that because what happens is I get a transcript, I get a text, and you can have them email you the audio. So then it's saved forever. You could actually, you know what you could do? Let's see. You could use Google Voice. I don't know if this would work, but I think it might. Cortron is suggesting in the chat room. Set up a Google Voice number, and then Google Voice will record a phone call. Then place a phone call to your voicemail from Google Voice. Record the phone call, and now you've got it recorded at Google Voice, and you can export it. Wow. That's 3 ways to solve it. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows and Windows Weekly, Macintosh and Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.